Ethan McKenzie.
Yeah.
Man, I would say you're like maybe almost a professional backpacker. Would that be
No,
fair?
I wouldn't say that, but
You
for a period there, yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yep.
Not spending money really. Budget backpacker, I would say.
Okay, this is the thing I can say truthfully that is unique about you. You're the stingiest dude I know, that actually has mates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that is usually mutually exclusive, and it's not with you. Why do you think that's the case? How have you done it? How have you cracked the code?
I don't know. Wait, why can't you have? Why?
Well,
what do you mean?
What I mean is usually like
you can have friends and be stingy.
Oh man, I think like a lot of people do it in such a selfish way almost of like you might be out with friends and it really gets in the way of enjoying a time.
Yes.
Well, I think the reason you're doing it from the outside, this might not be true, but the reason you're doing it is so intentional. As you say, like this money is my lifeline to travel, and everyone kind of understands that you're really into this for a long time. You're going to be volunteering.
Yeah. I try not to let it like affect other people. Like if I'm with other people and they like want to go out and get food, like, yeah, okay, it does get annoying sometimes. I'll be like, oh, they're like, let's go to this restaurant, right? And it's like, yeah, but like, I could also, yeah, we could, but like, I could also go to this taco stand and spend 1/3 of the price and just eat some tacos.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and they want to eat together. That's where it's annoying. If there's like a group, that's all right because they'll just go do that. And I'll be like, that's all good. I'll get my tacos. I'll come over and just eat with you.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like you try and find a thing. Some people feel weird about that. So they'll just like not go to that restaurant and then maybe accommodate for me. Which I don't, it's kind of, I feel bad about it, but they're their own person. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat my cheap food.
Do you think that's been it's almost setting a standard in a way on yourself? And then do you think that's been a good filter? Like if someone's not going to be friends with me, at least in that moment, because of something as really meaningless as that.
Well, sure, yeah.
It's like,
yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
It's like, they're not going to be like, screw this guy, he doesn't eat this food with me. I'm like, they know that I'm just being stingy. I think it's like a thing that people know when they're backpacking, like money, you're not making money over there.
Yeah.
So whatever money you're spending, that is like it depends how you travel, but if you're traveling with money, with time, that is like your resource. That's like what you're running off, right? Is your money. But no, if you're there just for a few weeks and you don't have the time, but you have the money, then you don't have to worry, right? You just spend whatever you want. But they know that a lot of travelers know that there are people out there that are traveling for a long time, and what's limiting them more or less is just money.
Yeah.
And then they are okay with that, Some people don't, and you just explain it to them and very, straight up, concept. And you just explain that's just how I am traveling, and then they're like, oh, and they understand it,
Yeah. Because you've done probably more backpacking than the average Joe.
Probably, yeah.
What keeps on like? What are you looking for? What is the thing like? That's a deep one straight off the bat.
Yeah, no. Look, I don't know, man. I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Just go out and like. Originally, I was like, decided to go to South America, just because it looked awesome and just like a wild experience. Like, yeah, you think of like Europe and that's a bit, for me as an Australian, like Asia, for example, and like Southeast Asia, a lot of people go there, and Europe. So I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
I guess I could have gone somewhere rogue, like,
Africa, Central Asia.
Africa, yeah, Central Asia, China or some random place, But South America seemed like a cool one with like a lot of hikes.
Yeah.
You got the Andes out there. And that's awesome. There's a lot of outdoor stuff like Machu Picchu. Like I thought of Machu Picchu and I looked at it and I was like, that'd just be so cool. Like it's like a magical thing, and you got the Amazon and volcanoes and stuff. And I had a friend, one of my best mates. I'll talk about him later, but I'm sure he'll pop up. But he went to South America and then he told me about it. So that sort of inspired me. He's the one who inspired me to go traveling.
Yeah.
And then I went there.
I think South America definitely, it's probably similar in my brain. Fit is this kind of accessible adventure. It wasn't so rogue as those other places where you might have a really difficult language barrier or just, holy smoke, there's no infrastructure at all here.
Yeah.
But like, this is definitely a middle ground towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And also the whole Spanish thing's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's just one, like, how many countries in a row do you want to speak one language? Like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God, it's that
Like that
good.
whole continent, I guess Central America and Mexico as well, South America, Central America and Mexico, besides Brazil, they all just speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So you can just go, you can spend so much time in that, that area, and you're just speaking one other language.
Yeah.
It's such a cool thing. Like if you go to Europe, you go to all these other countries and they just speak different languages. You can't really learn one, and then you learn one maybe a little bit, and then you go to another country and it's another language. Same with Asia.
Yeah. It really limits your travel experience. So did you learn Spanish straight away?
No,
No.
well, I got there, and then I started learning. I didn't even know how to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I was getting off the bus and I was like, cho, instead of ciao.
Yeah.
People like, oh, this.
So wait,
this
where is this?
gringo.
Where did you land?
That was in Colombia,
Okay,
in Bogota.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That was when I first went over.
Yeah.
That, because I've done 2 trips, separated by COVID, which was really annoying. I was on a big trip and then COVID happened, I had to go home, and then I just did another big trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Fuck. True. Okay. So what stands to date as like the roguest thing you've done in South American soil?
Rogue isn't like,
Just like something that is, because already we're speaking about pretty global terms, and not everyone is thinking of the world as just, oh yeah, go here, go to this continent, do that. So already we're kind of expanding out. Like,
I guess the first thing that came to my mind was one of the last things I did was in Ecuador, and that was like the Acatenango. No,
Yeah.
not Acatenango.
oh,
No.
I know the one you're talking
No,
about.
no, no, no. I am blanking.
Chimborazo?
Chimborazo. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Volcan Chimborazo. Which is pretty cool.
Mm.
It
Is
was.
that the one that's like the furthest away?
Yeah. So because it's the furthest point away from the center of the Earth and the closest point to the sun. It's
Okay.
yeah. So because it's on the equator, it's not like perfect sphere.
Yeah, it's like a spinning top, right? Like it's
Yeah,
wider at
exactly.
the
So
equator.
it's like in that little sweet spot where it's like has that cool thing, and it's still pretty high. Like it was 6,000. I think it's just under 6,300.
Okay.
So it's
Far out, that's not that
629,
bad.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the ice. But yeah. So I did that, and that was like
So
mountaineering sort of experience, which was pretty cool.
that's multiple days.
Yeah. So so basically the way I did it, I actually. Tying into the stinginess, you're gonna
I was gonna reveal the stinginess. Okay, yeah,
you don't understand. Like I did not do it the normal way.
Okay.
Yeah. But basically, you go there the night before, wake
Wait,
up.
what's the normal way? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so normal way. There's a refuge at 449, and then there's a base camp at 5-3.
Okay.
Now
5-3 is the same as Everest Base Camp, off the top of my head. So this is
yeah.
big
Okay.
boy stuff.
Yeah. So there's those things, right? There's like a hut sort of refugio and a base camp. Now high camp, let's say. Now you have 2 options. You either go to the hut and you hang out there for the night, and then you try and get to sleep early. You wake up 10, 11 p.m. Like really early. It's not even like I don't even know how many hours you would sleep.
Right.
Yeah, you would sleep like an hour or
yeah.
2. Like depends. Hopefully you can get to bed like at 6 or whatever. And the altitude is hard to sleep in, so that's annoying. But anyway, yeah. So you would wake up and then you would just start hiking all the way until the top.
So from 5-3 to 6-3.
No, this is the bottom camp.
From 4-5.
From 4-8, I think it is, or whatever, to the top 6-3. So you're going up 1,500 meters.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? And so that's the low camp, and then you want to try and get there by sunrise. So you do all the hiking in the night, and then you come back down when the sun's come up because the ice melts and whatever, right? So that's one way, or you pay a bit extra and you stay at the high camp, and then you leave at 5-3. Yeah, and all that does, you leave a little bit later, and also just increases your chances of actually summiting.
Had more time for acclimatization as well.
Yeah, that's something you have to really prioritize and do before you attempt it. Okay. You'll need to do some little bit of training and acclimatization beforehand. So you need to, like, let's just say you do that. Like some people that don't do that, yeah, they'll wherever they start, whatever, they're not going to make it because they're going to get to like 5,600 and then just like die and then just have to return, and the guide's just going to turn them back. But if you're acclimatized, even if you're acclimatized and everything, if you start at 4.8, if you're going too slow and you won't make it to the top, and you whatever, and it's so hard because you have that extra 500 meters elevation, you might not make it. Like 50% of the people that attempt to do it, only make it to the top.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
it's like there's a lot of.
See, that's the thing. Like, altitude is just one of those things that really doesn't discriminate. Hey, like it is just a beast.
It'll mess you up.
Oh, I've seen the fittest people I've ever seen just get rocked by it. Like,
so you need to make sure you're acclimatized. I did some prep for that.
How did you do the prep?
Yeah, so I was volunteering at this hostel in Ecuador as like a guide, sort of. It was really cool. Best experience ever. Secret Garden Hostel, shout out. You guys are the best. And I love that place. It's probably my favorite place I've ever been to traveling. But I was working there, and that hostel's at 3,500.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's not,
Yeah, it's pretty high still.
Yeah.
And then I'm hiking to Pasachoa up to 4,200. I do that 2 to 3 times a week on my off days as well. Sometimes I was like training to get up there. So you're doing this hike with like guests, you know, a few times a week, and doing that for over a month, and also living at that altitude, you're sort of getting acclimatized, right? And that's a pretty good altitude to be at. Now, I went from there down to Latacunga, which is the town closest to Chimborazo, and then I went to the base camp, and I had my tent, my little crappy $200 tent that I got from, you know, before I left, this Denali tent.
Yeah.
Mate. Crappy, right? And I was camping there at the base camp 4.8, and then before that night, like.
So you're camping on your own, or as part of a tour?
No, just on my own.
On your own at the 4.8 base camp.
Yeah, because you can camp there for free and whatever. And then so like before, like I went there before I set up and everything. I went up to this point where it's like 5,200.
Okay.
And I just sat there for an hour just to acclimatize.
Oh, so you set up your tent and then you just sat there.
Oh, it was before I set my tent up. I just arrived and then went up there and did that little hike up to that this one point, 5,200. Hung out there for an hour. Bloody got so cold, and then I came all the way back down, hung out in the refugio, hung out, and then I set my tent up, and then then I went to sleep, and that was pretty cold. But luckily, I had a good sleeping bag, so it was all right. And then in the morning, I woke up and then went to 5,300 again.
Okay.
And then hung out there for an hour.
Is this like recommended stuff, or are you kind of just okay?
Yeah. I talked to some guides and did some research and stuff. And that's sort of what you want to try and be up there for a while, and then you want to come back down. And then I went all the way back to the hostel in Latacunga. Like that's not very high, but that doesn't matter because you've been exposed to that altitude. And then I just chilled, just rested I came back in the afternoon. Then I went to bed, chilled the whole day next day.
So you've kind of got halfway up, so to speak, and come down and gone up again, down and gone all the way down. And
yeah, that's the sort of thing that you need to do to acclimatize.
Dipping your toe in the water.
Okay. The reason I really wanted to make sure that I was going to make it to the top, because I've been wanting to do this for ages, and you're paying like $500.
Really?
I know this is not much for like people, right? But like when you're backpacking, that's a lot of money.
No, for sure.
Now, if you do it and you don't make it to the top because you weren't prepared enough, you have to come back down, and you're not getting that money back.
Sure.
And then for me, I would have to do it again because I want to do it, right? I'm not going to do it, so I don't want to be wasting $500. This is coming back to the stinginess, right? Like, I am going to make it to the top, and I don't want to like not make it because I'm not acclimatized. So I was doing it. Right? I'm putting the prep
You're doing
in.
all the right things.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Well, it worked out, right? So I went back down and then hung out at the hostel, and then I got picked up by my guide so I went back, slept at the hostel, chilled all day, slept again. Next day, got picked up by the guide in the morning, went up to the mountain again. He drove me up to the base camp. You can drive to the base camp at 4.8. It's like up the road.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool actually. And then so I decided actually not to stay there. So I think the price was $380 to start there as for a one-on-one, like one guide, one person. If you go 2 people, it's cheaper. You can split it in half. But if the other person doesn't make it, you also have to turn back.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to risk that either because that's annoying.
Yeah.
So I decided to pay a little bit more just so I could be independent and free with my own sort of will, whatever. Anyway, so do I start at 4.8? I was like, man, I want to go to the 5.3 one, the high camp, but it's an extra like, fuck, I think it was like an extra $200
Jesus.
just to start from there. And they just got these little domes there. And it's like, I don't really want to be spending another $200 to do this thing, but it's going to make me, it's going to increase my chances to make it to the top because it's going to make it easier. So it's like, oh, do I do that? Do I not?
Benefit analysis going on.
So what I asked my guide, I was like, brother, can I just camp up there myself? Can I carry my own tent and just sleep there? Like, can I do that? And he's like, yeah. I was like, and I was like, can I just do it for cheaper? Like, I won't use your facility. Like, I won't sleep in your little domes and whatever. I'll just stay in my tent because you're on a bed at like 8 and waking up at like 11, right? It's 3 hours. Like, I'll survive. Yeah. So he was like, yeah, okay. And I think it was an extra like $80.
Okay.
And I was like, sweet.
Money well spent.
Yes. So I've gotten away with something here, right? So I got up, hiked up there that afternoon.
And real quick, just to interject, how much joy in making those little stinge deals do you get?
That's what I live for. No, it is, guys. I feel like I am the winner.
Yep.
I win right now because I am doing this. I see chumps over there that have paid like $800 or whatever. Like they go with like this other. I found the cheapest guy, but talked to him, make sure he was cool, and find like the cheap one, and they're paying like for big tours and whatever. Right? They're paying $800, whatever. That's cool. They're doing their thing. And they made it up with these other guys as well. But I paid like $400, and I'm like smug as about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure we're still recording. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, no, I'm not like it's all good. I'm not like waving it in their face.
Yeah,
but internally, it's nice to know.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to it. Yeah, so I took my tent up there and everything. I was able to like go into the main tent and eat with everyone. Felt kind of bad because I only paid $80, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's just nice. And they let me have tea and whatever, and then whatever. But yeah.
So how many people are in the domes and on the mountain?
There was like one guy that just hung out there, and then 2 guides because there was like 2 groups.
How many tourists trying to like summit that day, for instance?
Oh, I think it was me and my guide. There was like 3 German people and their guide. Or there might have been 4 German people, 2 couples and 2 guides. I think that might have been it actually.
So about 10-ish.
Yeah, it's not many people.
Yeah.
And then no, actually, wait. There was like a few more. I think at the top when I was up there was like maybe 8 people.
Okay.
I think I was the second person to get up there. But yeah, anyway, we go to bed at 11. I'm in my sleeping bag in my crappy ass tent in like
at 5,300 meters out.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm like,
high.
God, I was like, this is cool. I don't know, just the fact that my tent's up here. Like, it's not a 4-season tent, dude. It's like, it's barely probably 3 seasons.
It thought it would live all its life in Anaconda or something. Go for a fishing trip or something.
Yeah. Man, I'm taking that turn up
top
to
of the
so many
world.
places. But yeah, more or less, we woke up 11 o'clock. Boom, I was able to sleep a little bit, which I was surprised about. And then yeah, we kicked it off and went up and slow and steady, and that was hard. When you got up to like 5,800, and I'm like, take like 10 steps. I'm like, let's rest.
And you're just hiking on snow, is it, or
it's ice?
Okay.
So you got your crampons and stuff. Yeah,
but it's relatively flat.
Nah, it's steep as shit.
Okay, so you're straight up.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ice picking at any point?
Yeah, it's not like technical.
Okay.
So you're not like on like a straight, like a.
Not climbing.
Yeah, not climbing. Yeah, you sort of just walk up this steep path. So you're just sort of walking and going slow and using your ice pick as a walking stick, which is really short and annoying, like whatever. But yeah.
Are you seeing? I'm imagining people kind of dropping like flies behind you, like seeing someone puke or something. I don't know.
We were pretty. We're up ahead, so
I guess it's night, so you can't see anything.
Yeah, you see the lights.
Yeah.
Just headlights. Yeah, so we just did it, and eventually going up and up and up and up, and there was like a mini peak. So you go up to this like mini peak, and then it drops down a little bit, and then goes to the main peak. But you can see the main peak. I remember getting to that mini peak, and I was like, home stretch, baby.
Yeah.
And because it's like you're up there, and that mini peak's like 6,100.
Okay.
So you're only going up another 200 meters in elevation, and you can see it. I'm like, yes.
So it's light, like, because I'm imagining pitch black.
Yeah, sorry. At this point, while you're at the top, because this is like, we left at like 11 p.m., 12 p.m., let's say. Yeah, so you're hiking like 5 hours in this cold, dark, icy mountain, extinct volcano.
That's a version of hell, right? Like, I mean, what?
Yeah. Oh, and it's even worse when you're hiring, the guide gives you these ice boots or whatever, like these mountaineering boots that are just one size too small. So your toenails, that's getting railed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll get to my toenails later, but yeah, my feet hurt. But that's all right. I'm just so motivated to get to the top because I want to, conquer this bad boy, or whatever. But yeah, by the time I got to the top, at the mini peak, the sun was coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can sort of see like the silhouette of the main peak.
It's cool.
I just went up there, and man, when I got to the top there, it was like awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah.
How long were you feeling that high?
I'm still feeling it, man. Doesn't stop. No, I don't know, man. It was like, probably like 5-10 minutes. I'm like just, oh my God. And then eventually I'm like, I am so cold. I'm freezing right now. Let's go down. Mate, and going down sucked.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's steep and it's...
Yeah, and it's just long. And my toes were so sore.
And you have nothing to kind of...
Barely slept.
You have nothing to go for anymore. It's just that comfort.
Yeah, now it's just like, I just have to get this done. Like, you achieve this thing, and it's just like, you can't relax. You still have all the way down, and it's cold, and your feet are sore, and it's also very dangerous. You're walking through crevasses and everything. Yeah, I didn't really mention that, but like, yeah, it's pretty kind of dangerous, a lot of crevasses. Yeah. If you slip and fall down one of them, like, well, there's the guides trained and whatever, but like...
Are you roped into someone?
Yeah, you're attached to him and all that. And
so he's going to...
Yeah, he's going to, yeah. But you could, die.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Sure.
If you pass out for whatever reason, you could probably die. I don't know.
Probably not great to black out on a mountain.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. But going down sucked, man. Like, just because my toes were so sore and I was so tired. Oh, I just remember like, gosh, just like hiking for like that long up 1,000 meters on the back of not much sleep at all, and then walking down. Oh, it's where the accidents happen. But I was just, by the end, my feet were dying. And it was actually funny because I went with the old El Cheapo guide, getting down to the high camp. Man, I just want to relax and just chill. He's like, oh, please, can we go down faster? Because he has like new clients that he has to take up that day.
What, the same day?
Yeah, this guy's psycho.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I was like, please. Like, for him, it's like, that's another, sorry. Or whatever. If he has like 3 people or whatever, that's like $1,200 at least US dollars.
Yeah. It's a lot of money for him.
But yeah,
and he must be doing that a few times a week. That must be a walk in the park.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He'll just go up and down and whatever. Like, it would suck. But I think for him, this is where it's a bit dodgy. Like, they're banking on like the people not making it.
Right. Okay.
And this is where I was a bit skeptical at the start, because I'm like, yeah, they're just gonna be like, oh, sorry, mate. Oh, you're not doing too well. I have to turn back,
Okay,
I'm like, what's stopping them from doing that?
Yeah.
So I was like, looking at people, and there was some people that I talked to before I went. There was one guy, and I was like, dude, we're doing well. And the guy said we had to turn back because we weren't making time. And they went with this like cheap one through the hostel. And I was like, man, am I going to risk like going through this dodgy guy?
Oh,
so
that's why you did the preparation so much as well.
Well, yes, but also that's not going to help some guy being like, oh, sorry, mate,
Sure.
because he could just be like, he could just pull the old, sneaky, sorry, brother, you have to turn back. And I can't argue because he's the professional.
Yeah, right.
So what I did, I was like, I raised this as a suspicion with the hostel owner.
Okay.
This is my sneaky little
insurance policy.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, oh, I've heard about this guy. And I was like, are they dodgy? I've heard some people say these things, what's stopping them from doing that? And the guy's like, no, he's really good, because they have this little deal going on, partner. They're giving them all the clients from the hostel.
Yeah.
It's like this one hostel in Latacunga, which is great. And then they're getting, well, I guess he pays them. I don't really know. But anyway, so they asked the guy, and the guy's, And then the guide's like, no way, I don't do that. That's bullshit. So now I'm like, cool.
You need to prove it wrong.
Yeah. It was like, then prove to me that I will get to the top.
Yeah.
So he had to get me to the top. Otherwise, like, and I told him, I'm like, I'm going to the top. I'm so prepared. There's no way I'm not getting to the top. This is my dream. But also I was being like a nice to him. I'm not being a dick. But
This
like,
is my dream.
I kind of got him like kind of.
Got him on side.
Yeah,
You got him invested in your story.
I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. And I
Sure.
wanted to test, you know, and it's interesting because like, so he could still be like that, but he couldn't be like that with me because I was the one making a little bit of a fuss about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So now he went back after I finished, took the people up. He's probably tired and whatever. They get off late. They weren't prepared. I can tell you now, they weren't prepared.
Okay. The next three.
Yeah, a little bit. But still, they didn't. They had to turn back. You know.
Yeah.
So
He's
I'm-
probably cooked. He's like, the first time.
Yeah, he's like, sorry
I
guys.
should have double booked myself.
Yeah, he's probably lagging behind. He's like, sorry guys, we can't make it, because
Oh,
No, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows, right? I have no evidence, and I have to assume that he's not
Cool.
like that.
Well, that's a
but
great
I think it would be a thing.
Man, that's a great story, and I think it shows a lot of what you're all about. Like this real intent, this character, but it's again quite uniquely channeled. I mean, you probably don't think yourself as super unique because there are other travelers like you. But in terms of if we take a cross section of 1 million young people in Australia, not many of them are using all these talents and making deals and all the insurance policies on climbing mountains in Ecuador. You know what I mean? A lot of them are doing jobs or uni or career. Like, what has led to the point where you're channeling so much energy into this style of adventure?
Well, no, it's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like doing it cheaper?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
You mean like doing it in a budget, stingy way? Do you mean?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people will, you know, be doing normal stuff, going to uni, doing jobs, and then like they're there for 3 weeks or a month or something, and they don't have to be stingy because of that. How have you got to the?
Well,
you might not be
I
conscious
wanted
of
to
the
go on
fact
this
that-
huge life journey adventure thing, you know, like
Yeah.
just sort of do this big trip and just see this continent that seems awesome and, you know, volunteer and stuff. But the problem is I don't have much money.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I was pretty like not very rich at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, how do I do it cheap then? So that's like my limiting factor is my money.
Yes.
So I just have to try and spend a little amount of money as possible, but still, you know, try and have a fun time.
Yeah, no,
It's kind of hard to find a balance. Sometimes, you know, there was moments where I wish I spent a little bit more money for an experience. Not a whole lot. I think
Is there any on the top of your head?
I remember one when I very first started. I wish I went to this paintball thing in Colombia.
Oh, the Tejo, where you throw it on the gunpowder.
Nah, not
no.
that.
Okay.
Nah, the actual paintball in who's a drug lord guy?
Oh, in
Pablo
Pablo
Escobar.
Escobar's house.
Yeah, in his house. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Was there a
like
group of people in the hostel that were really cool doing that, or?
no. There was just like a tour you could do, but it was kind of expensive.
Okay.
And I was like, nah. But I'm like, I should have just done it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or like rock climb. There was this big monolith mountain where you could rock climb, but you have to pay a bit to like go up it. I could have done that. Or there's like this huge hole in Mexico, like this deep hole, like, and you could like abseil down to
I
it.
think that's the one from Point Break. Have you seen that movie?
No.
No. Okay. You'd love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I could go, but like, yeah, it's expensive, right? You probably spend like $500
Wow. Okay.
US or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, like 500 to go down it, but it'll be sick.
Mm.
But I was like, I don't want to spend the money. Maybe I could have done it. I'm not sure if I regret that one, but like, there's like little things where you have to cut it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I did pretty well. I decided to spend money, like the Chimborazo, you know, like I'll spend that
Yeah.
just because that's a cool experience.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
but there's like other things where like Akatanengo, for example, like everyone does the tours, but like I just went up on my own because I had all the hiking gear anyway with a couple friends, and we just did it ourselves and went up for 2 nights instead of 1 and whatever. Like it was just sick and whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're the sort of things that you still do it. You just try and do it in a cheaper way.
Yeah.
It's like there's always the other option.
Yeah. I think it's just it's cool to see, and that's why I think I said at the start, like the fact that you do it almost in the right way, because it's very hard balance, as you're probably getting at, to strike.
Mm.
Not a lot of people have the kind of secure nature in social situations, especially with people in hostels that might be really cool and connected with, but you only just met them, to actually stand on those grounds and set those boundaries.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side, they'll be like, I can't do it at all. I can't even leave my country because I don't have the money for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like that as in nature anyway. Just I don't like spending money. Even in Australia, I'll still do that. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So what's your, and I asked this mainly for me because I'm definitely in a similar boat. Like, I think in a lot of ways, very similar of that relationship with South America and being drawn to that and wanting to explore. What's your relationship with Australia? What kind of life do you live? How do you get the adventure? What's the difference, I guess, in your life between the two?
Well, there's a lot of when you're back in Australia, I guess for me, I can work and actually make money. Over there, I was working and just getting a food and accommodation for volunteering, and that's chill and cool and very fun and usually the best part of my trip actually. But over here, it's like you can work and save up. You can get like $2,000 in a week if you just work hard, and then that can fund so many cool adventures in the future. So it's like that. But also, like, what's really nice back home is you have more stability. Like, you're not just living out of your backpack. You have like a house, room, car. Car's really good, actually. Car's very nice because you can drive everywhere. You don't have to walk everywhere. You could drive and get to places and and you have a surfboard, and then you put a surfboard on the roof, and then you can go surfing whenever you want because, well, I live near the beach. And let's say the waves are good. Like, you can do that instead of like having to hire a board, some random board that you don't even know. Like, you have your own thing. You have your own freedom. You can do that, and you have a bit of routine and everything. It's nice. I love it. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing that, getting a rig like you've currently got overseas?
Yeah. Haven't thought about it too much, but I definitely would be open to it. I probably wouldn't. I'd be more open to do it in like America or Europe, where it's a bit safer. I wouldn't probably want to drive a car like I have now, around like a third world sort of like more dodgy country.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because there's too many risks. Like, I don't risk too much when I'm backpacking.
Yeah.
You always have your important stuff locked up in a hostel.
Yeah.
But in your car, like right now, we're in the middle of Melbourne. My car with my surfboards on my roof in the middle of that city, leaving that overnight. Like, I can lock my straps, but I would be surprised if they got stolen.
Yes.
Pretty surprised, right?
Yeah.
But over there, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they got stolen, and they probably would expect. I couldn't do that, and I don't know. It's just like you just know shit's gonna get fucked with. Over in Europe, I haven't really been to Europe, to be fair, so I don't know. But I'm assuming it will be fine and safe and everything. You can sleep in your car. No one's gonna rob you or whatever. People are doing that. And in America as well, like, or maybe not the cities and stuff, but like you could definitely live out of your car. Like, I see so many people doing it.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, I feel like I got a little taste of who you are and where you're at.
Yeah.
Where does it all begin? What's the story? Can we wind the clock back to, I don't know, wherever you want to go? Like, whether
Born
it's
in
childhood or uni or
Nambour Hospital in Sunshine Coast.
But you know what I mean? Like, everyone goes back to a different spot, but is there almost the start of your story? Like, what would you kind of point towards?
I reckon I gained consciousness around my 4th birthday.
Okay, we're going back there.
No, I'm just joking. I don't know, man. School, pretty shit.
You were shit at school, or it was just a shit experience in general?
Yeah, it wasn't good. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know. I wouldn't say I had like the best upbringing with school and stuff. So it was always a bit of like not a super important thing for me. So it was just a bit of fun. I didn't really try too much.
Yeah.
I was fluffed about. The coolest thing in school was the sport and playing games and lunch and stuff. I loved it. Oh, the best, and sports day and stuff. That was fun. Like, it was fun. Like, I was there and I'm like, I love this, like long jump and whatever. But let me think.
Because that is, I mean, it's so obvious for, if anyone does watch this and already knows you, like, the games thing is just huge. I mean, that is Ethan McKenzie, games.
That's one part of it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
some people, I can see why some people think that's like a big thing in my personality. I don't know, I'm just very passionate for it. And I feel like for a game to be really good, you need someone there to make it exciting,
You are always the hype man for a game. I mean,
Yeah.
Catan, like,
Yeah.
from disc golf, whatever it is. Yeah, wow. Do you think that, and this is maybe going back to deeper meta shit, but do you think that it's difficult to, I'm certainly finding it's difficult to find games. The older I get, it's almost difficult to find games that are almost worthy of playing. Like, yes, there are nice games I can have fun on, like with friends on a few hours, but in terms of life games, of like whether it's career paths or adventures or what do I want to do, like these are almost games as well. And it's like,
Yeah, I guess.
what game do I choose? What game do I play?
Sure. The game of life.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't understand. What do you mean? Like, are we?
So
What's the question?
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what the question is. I guess I'm just throwing out shit that I roll around my head and hoping you.
Are we talking about game? Like, are we? Let's talk. Are we talking about games and how they're fun, and are we talking about like how life can be a game? And
I think
because okay, let me think.
Please.
So with a normal game, game theory, you can act like I'm a very competitive person. It's part of the reason why I really like games because I want to win, and I love when other people want to win as well, and I get to beat them. Now, if they beat me, that's fine. I don't like it. I used to hate it as a kid. I really did. I hate it, and my friends and family know that. I don't mind as much anymore because what I love is the competition, and the fight for it, and the excitement, and the thrill, which is really cool. But yeah, if you want to win, game theory, right? You want to do everything that you can in whatever way to best your chance to win. And that works in a lot of games, hence the game. But you can also put that in life as well.
Yeah.
And you can see yourself and what decisions you make in life, in a way that you can want to make the best decision for my life in this and for this way and that way. And that's actually a big part of why I went traveling and other reasons like that. But yeah, things like that. In university, like I want to win this, I want to get the best grade and whatever. Not saying that's probably like you really want to apply it that way.
Maybe this is what I'm getting at.
I don't know, yeah.
When I play a game like Catan, right, it's a very clear, it's like it's got very clear and structured, and it's got boundaries, and it's all very obvious. So if I apply, limitations. If I apply correct game theory and the knowledge and the execution, I'll win. When it comes to life, there's like infinite games being played simultaneously, and each maybe has boundaries, but not really, and limitations. So it's like suddenly, if I take the same stuff that I take in when I'm playing a normal game into my life, it gets weird real quick, and it gets confusing real quick. And it's like, if I'm at university, okay, this is the way I can beat university. But then it's like, do I even want to be in university? Right? Yeah. So it's like,
is this the game I want to play?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how are you going about deciding which games you want to play, which games you don't, and which games you are okay to lose, and which games you really want to win? Like,
I don't know, you just have to pick the ones that you want to. I don't know.
Do you struggle with that? Because I do.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. There's some that like you can like. Okay, I am recently going through this. There are so many things that you can do, and at the moment in this point in my life, I'm traveling with my partner, and we're like traveling around, and we're just into hobbies: rock climbing, surfing, disc golf, snorkeling, volleyball, whatever. Right. Everything you do, there's like you want to do it well, right? But it just takes a lot of time to get really good, and you can't commit to every single one of those, but you can commit a little bit to all of them and have fun in all of them. It's like, which one do you want to go for? So you have to kind of pick and choose which one, you like the most and want to commit to and all that. But it's annoying because then there's always that one person, or like in this day, there's a lot of people. There's a bunch of people that have committed themselves for this one thing all the time for the past 10 years. And it's like, you can't catch up.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
So this is what I mean. Like it's all good and well to be super competitive, and because I struggle with this as well, right? Like naturally, deep down as a boy, it's super competitive, and it's almost like by delving into hobbies and playing around with things, you kind of have to learn the art of not being the winner, not being the best, and it's like weird,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because then the options are kind of live in this delusion and just play small games that you can win.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll end up not wanting to play games because you're not going to win, and you have that issue as well. And it's like, you do realize, you're here to have fun.
Yeah,
it is about having fun. I like having fun, having a good competition.
Yeah,
and you need to be good to have that competition, but you can still have fun even if you don't win and stuff. it's funny. My nephew, shout out to Khan, absolute legend. Awesome, very, very, very intelligent little man. Sweet, very good at things. Now, there's some things he's not good at, like Catan, and he doesn't want to play all the time. He doesn't want to play at all, and he hates it. He's like, no, Catan sucks, right? It's just because he's not good, and it's actually because it's such a political game, and you need to have that little you need to be able to talk to people and sort of get them to do what you need them to do for you to win. Like now, my other nephew Denali. Now he's very bright and very smart in his own way, and normally as well. But he has more of the gift of the gap, so he can get people to do that, and he's way better than Khan at this. Whereas Khan's very I guess
analytical.
Yeah, I guess he'll play chess really well and whatever. Like where it's like you don't need that. So, but he doesn't want to play any of these games, and it's it sucks because I want to play with him, right, and all this, and he needs to learn that you just play even though you suck, it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want to say going back to what you're saying about life, and you can see things as games as well. Like if you want to do uni and you want to win, usually those it's hard to compare yourself with other people, but I think you should try and win with yourself. You can't. It's hard to compare with other people. Maybe in uni you have grades and stuff, but just with a lot of things, with a career and whatever, if you want to try and win, just set a goal for yourself and try and achieve it, I think. Then you play in that game and then you try and see what's my game theory.
Those are the Browns.
What's my game theory? Yeah, for this goal.
Yeah.
What are the best things I can do right now in my limitation where I could achieve that and set that in for however long that's going to take you to achieve, how many years or months or whatever. And then try and do that. And then you win if you achieve it.
Because I think
isn't that
yeah, I think I can't be alone in feeling, and I can go ahead and blame social media all I like, right? But it's having access to everyone on the planet. As you say, every little thing you choose, there's going to be some cunt who's done it for 10 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or the equivalent.
Doing it great, man.
Doing it amazing.
Oh, social media is so annoying. I've done traveling. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'm happy with what I'm doing. There's one guy that's done that, but they've also been to every other continent doing the craziest stuff. I'm like, damn it, I could also be doing this, but fuck.
So back in the day, you could be living in your little town or your little suburb or whatever it is, and you could be the backpacking travel dude. You open up everyone's experience to the world. You tell your travel stories. You are the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't.
Oh, they already know that guy.
Right?
There's plenty of those guys
he's on Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the same for everything. You could have this cool little hobby of disc golf, but there's the guy.
It's so annoying.
It's
Pickleball.
weird.
Pickleball's new.
Pickleball.
Do you know pickleball?
I've briefly heard about it.
I played pickleball in America. I went to America for 3 weeks on the flying back to Australia, my last trip. And I was there with my mum's cousins, and they're a bit older, 50 or 60, and they play pickleball. I've never heard of this, and it's new, and it's fun. And I played with them, and I was like, man, I could commit myself. I could be that person that committed themselves when this was a new thing, and I could be really good at this. I don't know.
It's like investing in the stock
you
market, making it buying Apple stock 25, 30 years ago,
Yes.
It's kind of like that in social status.
Yes. And just achieving something great.
Yeah.
Imagine going to the Olympics for pickleball, man. It'd be pretty cool to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. What could you do it in?
I've met, it's interesting you say this because freediving is kind of like that. Freediving's been around for not a long time, and it's a weird niche thing to get into. And when I got into it just a few years ago, and still to this day, it still feels like a bit of a one where it's on the edge. I mean,
yeah, it's new. And
I've met a guy, for instance, who when I was with him, we were at a very similar level, like the intermediate level, and now he's basically professional in 2 years because he's committed, thrown himself into it.
Yeah, he's just gone into it. Yeah,
and it's that's wild to see because in tennis. You can't do that trajectory in 2 years. It's just not possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
it's just too much, too big of a thing. It's definitely something, I think because of that competitiveness, I think because of that young man wanting to find a place in the world, be great at something.
Yeah,
it's
that has an influence, I guess.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think even just this weekend, the way you've been speaking and stuff is made me ask those questions a lot to myself of where am I sitting with that? Do you have anything more for me in that sense?
What do you mean?
Oh, not that you need to. I was saying, is there any more juice in that lemon?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you said it pretty well. Those things, I don't know. It's very hard now for you to be the best person at something.
Yeah.
Actually, I claim, yes, shout out. I challenge everyone to beat me in a game of Cumbio. Actually, I can claim this. I can actually I am not. I would say that I am not deluded or like I feel like I'm a very honest person and I got a pretty like. Anyway, I can.
Cameo's the 4 cards?
Yeah, the 4 ones where you remember.
Yeah.
I played a lot of that backpacking.
Okay.
And I applied my hyper competitive game theory.
What's that Russell Crowe movie? Like The Beautiful Mind or something?
I don't know, but yeah. But I haven't met anyone that could beat me in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
The one person that did got like they were sort of close when I first was learning. I'm not sure if I was just learning, but Dan from England, shout out. It was pretty good. And Erwin at the Secret Garden. I remember watching.
Oh no, Secret Garden. Right.
Secret Garden, yeah. Erwin, one of the managers.
Okay.
I could tell that he understood the game.
Right.
Now, this is not just like any random card game. It's like, yeah, whatever. This card game is probably the biggest card game
on the backpacker trail.
Yeah, in South America and maybe, I guess, in other places as well. It is huge and a lot of people play. But there's different rules and everything. But
have you ever lost a game, Ethan?
Yeah, naturally you would lose. Still, things just don't go your way and you could lose, but very rarely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of joking, but I do want to claim this one thing.
Yeah.
I would be open. I'm sure that, okay, right. You know, surely there'll be someone out there that's probably better than me, right? But I haven't met that person.
Very interesting.
But I don't know. I would love to verse them because I'm not convinced that they could beat me.
Yeah. Fair.
I could definitely put up a good fight.
One thing that I had, and it's just come to mind. But I think now, as you say, there might be no hope of being the greatest and the single best, but the other hope is to like be like this unique mix of things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everyone's impressed by someone who's the best at dancing, but not the third best. Everyone's impressed by like the coolest bear, but not the third. But if you have a dancing bear, it could be like not even good at either. But it's a dancing bear, you know. It's like things that you've never seen together. If that makes sense.
Sure. I would be impressed by the third best dancer in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I think maybe I think
we could just
active multiplication.
Yeah, I think it's just big. I don't know. Like if just get good enough to enjoy everything. I don't know. Yeah. What is it like? Master of none, but
yeah. Master of none. Jack of all trades, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I know you had a period of life, I don't know how long or what it looked like, where you were kind of less like you are now and a bit more happy to enjoy and stuff. But can you get into that?
Yeah. So, I guess you'd put photos up in the video as well.
Okay. Oh, on this clip?
Probably. I don't know. Yeah. It's like probably the best way to explain it. But like, mate, who I am right now, like if you got someone that knew me when I was like, let's say 16, 17, 18, and now where I am now.
How old are you now?
26.
26, cool. Yeah.
They wouldn't. It's. I'm very different.
Okay.
Yeah, very different. Very.
So the last half hour has been a picture painted of you now. So what was it 10 years ago?
Yeah. Okay.
What's the Tinder bio?
Oh, I wouldn't even want to go there, mate. Oh, mate. Mate, let's say I was. So we're going into high school. I was a fat, sweaty nerd, geek. Zero Riz. Shout out to Denali, my nephew.
Zero Riz.
Yeah, he's been keeping me up with this lingo and this.
Oh, you didn't know what Riz was? Okay.
No, I sort of know it, right? But like, he's like talking all this like, I can't remember some of the like Riz and like I forget what some of the words are. Anyway, but that doesn't matter. Like zero Riz, whatever, right? I was like just in my high school thing. I don't know. I didn't really care too much, and I was like really into like nerdy stuff. Like I was games, right? I was a big gamer in high school. I played a lot of games, like a bit of Call of Duty, you know, a decent amount, and like Minecraft and whatever. But like a big one was like, this is funny, Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game.
Oh, true. I remember Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, of course, right?
The
show, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like Magic the Gathering, but it's a Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, I played that in a card store competitively.
True. That is, what's the show, The Big Bang Theory? That's like what they do there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those nerds, right? They're like
Yeah.
nerdy. Yeah, that's like all the community. And I was a part of that community, man.
True.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like,
Real
screw
quick,
anyone who says that community sucks. They kind of suck and they smell, but
Did you think when you were there, I belong here, or do you think I'm better than these people? Like, what was your mindset?
No, we all were. We were. Everyone there is an outcast from society because no one looks happily upon these people.
I didn't know this. This is such a cool insight. Like, what? Yeah, what is this society?
Yeah, dude, they're just like rejects. Not okay.
Yeah.
Some of them are cool, and you know, no, I don't want to call them rejects, but I feel like I can say that because everyone knows that they are a reject in a way. But when you come together, all the rejects together, now you are normal, and you found your little community, and everyone's just happy with each other with their insufficiencies. You know, and it doesn't matter, man. Like, yeah, in school, you're this weird fat nerd person that, you know, you don't have zero riz, whatever. But at the card house, you're playing cards. That's not what's important. Playing cards and being mates, like, no one's going to look at you and be like, you're a fat fuck, whatever. Okay. No.
Because he's a smelly, stinky dog.
Yeah, because everyone is, right? But no, but also, we were like that. Like the group of mates would always just be like ripping on each other, just being funny. Like we're really, really close.
But there was no one who could avoid it, really.
No, yeah. We all paid out on everyone just for being autistic and whatever. Like it was kind of actually low key toxic, just with some of the jokes because everyone's just like, think of like comic book guy from The Simpsons, like real like sassy and whatever, like just like. Yeah, but technically, you know, like this. So everyone's just like, you are hard, you know, like just nerdy, right? And then some people are like really nice and innocent, and you got like the kids. Like we were like teenagers, so we were like the really like we played in tournaments that are like big. You go to regionals in Brisbane. There's like hundreds of people. And if you make top cut in that, you go to like Oceanics, which is in like Sydney with thousands of people playing, and then you know all these really good players, and they go worlds. You know, you travel the world doing it. And it's fun as fuck.
Did you go to any of that stuff?
Oceanics, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you made it to Sydney on the back of cart. Wow,
yeah, Melbourne,
big.
and
okay.
I went to Melbourne once for this.
So when you were in I would presume a big, almost exhibition center, like hall.
Yeah, like the
of thousands of these rejects. What is the vibe there? Because they're also pumped up on like I'm a beast competitor.
I miss it. I love it. I miss it because everyone's just
world.
cool, dude. Like no one's like into like superficial shit and whatever. Everyone's just like nerds into anime and stuff. Also, anime is the best. I was into it as well, but and still am. It's awesome, but it's kind of like that's the vibe, right? Everyone's just like in their own little community, and it's sick. And just playing cards, and that's like the main thing. The card game is very complex in its way. At the moment, it's kind of sucky, and
this is Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah. At the moment, it's kind of really, in my opinion, I don't like it as much.
Okay.
Because it's got to the point where it's like, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but like it's kind of just ridiculous.
We're gonna keep the weeds of Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay.
Yeah, like for example, like when I played, it's like, yeah, you draw your hand and whatever, and you like have like a few combo moves. Like you'll have like 5 different moves to get one guy out. That's pretty strong, and like a few backup traps and spells that'll like protect you. That's your turn. Now it's like you have all these combo cards, and you have to do like a 30 move turn, and it takes like 10 minutes to set up, and it's really changed. And I hate it.
So you're a bit of more of a computer almost in your head. Like.
Well, yeah, it's very hard to play.
Was that mainly analytical, or was there a political element like Catan?
Yeah. So
because that's maybe
not really, but a little bit. So sometimes because you can like pretend that you're really strong and smug when you're not. So people like think that you have like this trap card that will stop them. But it's like some shitty spell that you just, it's useless, but you pretend it's really strong. Like there's things like that, but it's not a huge
So similar
one.
to poker in a sense of
Maybe,
like, you're not actually affecting the things, but you're trying to bluff and you're trying.
Yeah, you're trying, you know. Yeah, exactly cool. Right. Yeah. But.
Wow, so you're deep in this little world.
Yeah, it was huge, yeah.
You've obviously come out of it, and we'll get into that journey. Before we do, you mentioned like a toxic nature to it. Was that toxicity like directed at kind of trying to keep people in? Like if someone was talking about the gym or something, for instance, or getting fit, would that have been like talked down upon in those circles?
No, that's encouraged.
Okay, cool.
Everyone's pretty like, think of like
Someone comes with a hot girlfriend, are they like? I mean, it just didn't happen. Maybe I don't know.
you do get the occasional randomly good, normal looking hot person that has a cool life, and they are like legends because they just want to play children's card games.
Yeah, cool.
You know, and that's always like and it's always like that guy's the best. You know, like he's chose to come and do this. Like it is fun.
That could be you now, for instance. If you went back now,
Mate, if somehow I could play the same game that I did when I was that age, I would 100% play if I was like, you know,
and
around
that
and stuff.
16-year-old fat kid would probably look at you and be like,
yes, bro.
that'd be cool.
That kid back then would never have thought this is how his life would turn out. Not saying it's like this amazing life and whatever. It's just so different to what he thought he could have achieved, you know.
What expectations did he have?
None. No, it's just Yu-Gi-Oh. When I was that age, I didn't really have any aspirations and drive or anything. You know, I was sort of just dealing with what's ahead of me.
Yeah.
And just wanted to do what I was making me happy at the time. And you know, there was a lot of like, I don't know, like I wasn't very happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, naturally, of course, when you're fat and smelly and gross. And a reject, whatever, right? I'm making jokes. But you're not very happy with yourself. You're depressed and, you know, you don't like the way that you look. And especially where I'm from, the Sunshine Coast, where it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And I say beautiful as in like reject, whatever, right? I'm making jokes. But you're not very happy with yourself. You're depressed and, you know, you don't like the way that you look. And especially where I'm from, the Sunshine Coast, where it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And I say beautiful as in like, yeah, it's beautiful nature and scenic, but everyone there is beautiful as well. So you do sort of like think about it a lot. But not just that, it's kind of just like, what are you doing with your life? Like the normal pressures of life as well. People being like, oh, what are you going to do? And all that, you know, because I didn't really do school too much and I didn't really have that, you know, drive, and it links back to my parents a lot, not really like motivating me. Okay. I felt like a bit of a loser, you know, and some of those people, you know, even though, you know, they're like, it's really fun, we're playing this game, like some of them are losers. You know, you do have the 50-year-old losers over there that are playing with children's card games with kids, and they're the ones you don't want to be. Yeah. Because they're like 50-year-old, some of them are cool playing with their kids, you know, that's all good. There are some people there that are just like old and I don't know, they're a bit weird. And there's some weird people that are just like
creepy.
Yeah, you just got creepos and yeah, it's annoying. Like, and there's that side of it where it's like seedy, unlovable. Well, I don't want to say unlovable, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see any.
So if I'm thinking, if I'm your parent, and I don't know what or who your parents were at this time, like, it'd be interesting to see you in that sense, and then like not doing school, but then obviously finding success in this very weird context. Was there any like
I don't know, I was always into like chess and did well there, and I think my parents always knew that I was bright with like things like that, but I don't know, man, it's just my parents are always just like, they're not really engaged with what I was doing really. Okay. They're just so focused on their lives and their own issues and whatever. Like I'm one of 5, and I'm the 4th along. Wow. So me and my little sister, by the end of it, they're just like, do your thing, you know, whatever. Cool. Like they didn't really care, which is actually not that good. But you know, I learned a lot of independence. Yeah. Everything that I do it. I have to do it, you know, and that's my own decision. And if I wanted to do something, I have to do it myself. It's not like I've got someone there to, you know, kick my ass, you know. Yeah. More or less.
So you're standing on your own 2 feet, and I've seen, even scrolling through Instagram, there's a lot of, and this is post this journey, which I'm really keen to get into, but there's a lot of love. Like, and I don't say this lightly, like there's a lot of love shared through Instagram. I've seen that in person as well. You just have a lot of energy and time and love and appreciation and gratitude for everyone and everything that you're directing it to. Mm. Like, you're not just like a boundaryless expansion thing, right? It's not weird and annoying, right? But if you're into a game, you're into it. If you're into chatting with a person, you're into it. If you're into...
not always.
But not always. But you'll make it known if you're not, right? Like,
Oh, I won't be talking to him.
that's what I mean, right? So
Okay,
if you
yeah.
are, you're into it.
Yeah.
right?
I might have to though, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think like even if I've never met any of them, but like having 4 sisters, right?
Yeah.
You seem to be very good at, and maybe as you say, maybe you're kind of judging yourself a bit there, like, oh, I don't know how I direct that and stuff. But when it is directing it, like it's really pure and good. Like it's just good energy.
My energy,
Yeah.
my passion.
Yeah, your passion.
Okay,
Your
Yeah.
non-romantic love, like. Yeah.
No, I do have that, and that's something that I think I've identified in myself during this process of improving my life, that I like about myself, and I think it's one of my strong points is this passion, and it's this childish sort of pure, refreshing nature, playful.
Playful.
I have that, and I think it's why people like me.
I think it's endearing.
Yeah, and I think people have told me this and everything, and you know, I try and be genuine. I try and be genuine. Some people don't like me as well, and maybe they don't like that. They think it's weird or whatever. I don't know.
I think it'll always
Maybe
be
it's a bit like maybe it's too like, you know,
sharp.
I don't know. It's too like, I don't know. Yeah, like everyone's not going to get along with everyone, right?
No.
I get along with a lot of people. Most people, I would say, you know, but I get along. The people that I get along really well, they appreciate that part of me.
Yeah. All right. So like, let's get into it. Well, what was the turn of events?
Okay. Yeah.
What was this journey that got you from?
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess, I'm very not happy with my life. I let's say I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I turned 18. I was going out a bit, you know. I think then I realized that like I'm not hooking up with anyone. I am not on anyone's radar at all, you know.
Okay.
And, you know, I accepted that, and that's whatever. I'm already used to that, you know, especially like during Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. And you know, I always felt like I wanted a girlfriend and wanted that love and stuff. Going back to my childhood, because like I sort of said, my parents were sort of over kids by that time, I would say. My personal little battle growing up is I was neglected a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get a whole lot of love from my parents. Sisters, yes. Always. My sisters are the best ever, and they're like my real parents.
Yeah.
The thing is, they have their own lives, and they've also sort of lived away from us and stuff. So they didn't really fill in there, but they were a good role model. So going back, I didn't really get that love and stuff. So I think I was seeking that a lot, and you know, I was depressed. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just working at this job. Like I finished school. I graduated. I didn't go for like a OP or ranking or whatever, right?
Okay,
I didn't actually try. Like I wasn't trying anything at school. I just didn't want to. I didn't focus. Partly, it's because I have ADHD, and we'll talk about that later, I guess. I didn't realize until later. So that was a big reason, you know, the school system wasn't really for me, you know, focusing and sitting down and studying, like, it was just not, you know. That's probably why I'm so into games and everything. It's just so exciting.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it was so clear that you had these gifts and you're able to be talented and whatever, but it's directed in these strange contexts, you know. It's definitely not the system of school.
It's giving me dopamine, brother. Like, honestly, it's all these things that I'm doing now, traveling and playing all these sports. No, it is literally why, like, even now, like, I just love the thrill and doing things that make me happy.
I think that's the answer I was looking for at the start. Well, you remember when I kept on coming back to like why backpacking? It's like, what gives you dopamine? What excites you?
Oh yeah, exactly. And just that whole backpacking life. But going back, like so I'm like lost, like don't have many friends. Like I had some friends through Yu-Gi-Oh, but I didn't have like a whole lot. Like the community's cool, but like I sort of left it and everything. I had a good couple friends that I was friends with. Actually, I have at the time my best friend. Shout out to Tom Harrison. He's my boy. And everyone said we were like a married couple because like we would always be hanging out. We played Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I met him at Yu-Gi-Oh. I met a few, like some of my best friends I met through Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah.
And we were always just hanging out. It was me and him. And he was like, he had mates and stuff, but he was kind of an outcast as well, like as every Yu-Gi-Oh player is. So we had each other.
Yeah.
You know, that was really awesome. And we had each other. We're getting through things. And he was also a big boy.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Yes.
big boy, you know. And I was actually I was a big boy as well, you know, like I think I said that before. I was 113 kilos, right?
Oh, that's real big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I
guess you're tall though, but yeah.
Yeah, well I'm like 80 now.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like 33 kilos
Wow,
difference.
that's
But
mental.
it was big boy. And I was not happy with my life. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I'm like, fuck, man, like, I'm just going to be a fat fuck for the rest of my life. You know, like, is that really what I'm going to do? All my sisters are awesome. They like went to uni and living this awesome life, living it up. Like, I also would like to have a cool life.
Yeah.
But I was like lost, I didn't know what to do. And I was just depressed and I was sad and whatever, right? And then I made a decision and I was like, fuck this. This sucks. I am so depressed and sad and hated everything. I don't want this anymore.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to kill myself. So what's
Cool.
up? And I don't want to do this anymore. So what am I doing now? Oh, okay. I have to, do something about it. So, because I realized.
Was there anything, or was this literally just one day you wake up and be like, fuck?
Gain consciousness for the second time in my life. Holy shit. Actually, very weirdly, it's so long ago, 10 years, like.
It's hard, right?
No, it's maybe 8 years ago because I was 18 or whatever. But like, I moved out of home. There was a big change in my life. I moved out of home with Tom and this my other friend, and we like tripped on acid.
Ah, there it is. It's
there it
always,
is. Yeah.
it's always
Now,
the psychedelics.
I don't want to say it was that,
Yeah.
but we did that around the sort of time. No, actually, no, that was before I moved out, actually. No, yeah, because my Tom was already living there and I went down to his house. So at some point there was like that influence. So the only reason I bring that up is because like when I said like second consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, like I think that did help in that way. Like that psychedelics do have that effect on people. And I think it did sort of help me sort of get more of a understanding of what I wanted in life. And I think that did influence it as well. But it definitely that was just one aspect, one tool, I think. And yeah, so basically it was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm fat and I hate my life. And anyway, yeah, I'm going to stop. So I decided to lose the weight.
Okay.
So I wanted to lose the weight and then I wanted to go and figure out my career.
Sure.
But I was just at this sort of job that I knew I wasn't going to stay there. And it was just like, actually, it's so funny. I was working there with Tom, me and Tom.
What was the job?
School zine.
Okay.
Yeah, we made online school newsletters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The old school newsletter.
I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah. You get your newsletter at school and you in the paper version.
Sure.
Give it whatever.
Yeah.
Online version, emailed directly to your to the parents' mailbox, right?
Yeah, I guess
so I'm there tagging away. That's what you'd do, right? They would send the content over. I would make it into like a mini website.
Yeah.
Which is really nice and satisfying. The job was awesome, and eventually, it's not too like you don't need to think too much once you get good at it. After a while,
that system.
and then you can just listen to podcasts, mate. Hamish and Andy, listen to like all their podcasts, right? Yep. Big fan and like whatever, right? Listen to so many podcasts, and I'm just working. Awesome job. I think it was sick.
And what was your goal for losing the weight? Did you have a number? Was it just don't look fat?
Well, yeah, I guess whatever my BMI was, 80 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I was like, all right, no more. I'm going to stop. I'm going to lose the weight and I'm going to eat healthy as well. I'm going to cut all the sugars and I'm just going to do it. And I'm not going to look back. And it's life or death. Like I just cut it all out and I stopped eating everything.
You're 18.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
And I cut everything out and I stopped eating the sugars. I went to the gym every day. No, 5 days a week. I had 2 rest days because on the weekend just to hang out.
Yeah.
That's all right. but I just did cardio and just went hectic.
Cardio 5 days a week.
Yeah.
No sugars is the main thing.
Yeah.
You calorie counting.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry to get into specifics. But
Yeah,
it's
I did a little
super
bit, but it was more, I did like some macros to start off with because I was doing I started meal prepping, so I did like a little bit of macros for that and whatever, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I just went there and it's like, it was kind of boring. Do you know the key to success is? Get the Wi-Fi password at the gym
Okay.
and just watch YouTube or whatever.
Right.
And then just go hectic on the cardio machine. The cross trainer was a good one because you could easily just like go for it and then whatever. I watched the World Series of Poker.
Yep.
Because they had like 10-hour videos online of all the years. And at the time, I was obsessed with poker. I was playing a lot of pub poker, making money and playing all the...
Another game.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. But I was loving it. And I was just playing poker and I was just work, boom, gym. And then after I was sweating and watching the World Series of Poker, boom, after that, I'd go to poker and play. And then that was my life. I loved it. It was awesome. Yeah. And then I'll just do that and I'd cut out all the sugars, like really, pay attention to it all and, start meal prepping with all the veggies and chicken and eventually went basically vegan. I went 70% vegan is what I used to say because everything I ate was vegan and then all my meal preps. And then I would go to mum sometimes for food if she invited me over and then if she cooks meat, Mexican or burgers or some bullshit, Yeah, I'll just eat that. So, So I did that, and then eventually I lost weight. And
how long did it take?
Yeah, I'd say about 10 months to maybe a year.
Yeah, to go from 0 to hero, like.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous how crazy, how it all changed. Partly because I looked better, and I got different attention. But
so what were the benefits? What happened? What can someone who might, and I don't know if
I was a blip on the radar to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I became visible to people.
And what kind of people?
Women.
Oi, okay, there we go.
Yeah, well, that never happened before, right? So
okay, so like, where did you go with that?
Okay, so with the women thing, I just started dating and sort of sussing out how it is, and you sort of learn in those stages. You're sort of learning like how you are in a relationship and, obviously you fuck up a bit and whatever. And I was still a virgin, right?
Yeah.
Because I was fatty, nerdy guy. And then I had to go through that whole experience, which is funny. And it was funny because I lost weight and I was so positive and everything because like losing weight and just wanting to make my life the best life that I could live, like really wanting to have a great life, make every decision is very important because I am going to win life. This is the game.
This is the game.
This is it, right? And then I'm so positive. And very luckily, I know this might sound weird, but luckily, like I think my friends would attest to this. I was not good looking when I was fat.
Yeah.
I was ugly and that was great. But when I lost weight, for some reason, I lost some fat around my neck and everything.
Okay.
And I'm not beautiful. Like I'm really trying, I don't want to be like...
You're a good looking bloke though.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't bad. I was actually all right,
I'll say it for you. You're a good looking bloke.
Thank you very much. And that was cool. And I was like...
Bit of a sexy rooster even. No.
Oh, stop it. Nah. But the point is, it was funny because like I went from like fatty, sweaty nerd guy to half decent looking, positive person, like attractive person, right?
I've seen the photos. I think they started in 2017, so this is maybe a few years into this. And you look young, but you look like a sunny coast boy. You look like the blonde hair tied back.
You grow my hair,
you're a little skinny, like, so you got the little ring, like surf ring.
It was crazy. Like, it was like Magikarp to Gyarados.
It was what?
Fucking, okay. Do you ever play Pokemon?
No.
You bastard. This is my nerd, man. Like, do you have like Charizard, right? You got like
I know Charizard.
Yeah, do you know how Pokemon evolve? I basically evolved.
Yep.
And this is what my friends Tom and Matt said,
Did they do it with you or would they?
Okay, so so I lost weight and I'm there loving my life. Like, holy shit, this is the best thing ever, guys. Like, you need to do this because, mate, Tom was like 150 kilos.
Fuck.
He was a fatty, bro. Like, he was, Matt was a big boy.
Is he taller than you?
No, dude.
Oh,
dude, he's like 5'10" or something.
What?
He was like a bowling ball. Poor bugger. He's lost.
I feel bad laughing about him. You can laugh about him. I can't laugh at him.
We're that close. Like, bro, right now he's like 80 kilos.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
He's good for it.
Yeah. He's a good laugh. But
shit. So they followed too. They saw
well,
you.
not initially. Like, but I
Hounded them.
okay, yes, because I love them. Those guys, you know, growing up, like, yeah, I have my sisters and my family and stuff, but I really like they were my family. I moved out with them, and Matt eventually moved in. We moved into a new home. It was me, Matt, and Tom, and then some other friends, and they are like my brothers.
Yeah.
My best friends. I love them the most. They're one of my favorite people, maybe besides my sisters and nephews. But like,
there's very few people, because everyone you meet now is meeting this version of Ethan. Very, very few people who loved the other version of Ethan, right?
Yes, right. They were there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so
you
cool.
guys,
Making me cry.
You guys cannot be living this life anymore. You need to come along with me, you know. And I was just hounding them. I'm like, come on, guys, you need to do this, you know. You lose weight, it's really easy. All you need to do is this. Come on, guys, let's do this, whatever. And I was very passionate, you know. And actually, it's very interesting because at the time as well, like, it wasn't just the weight that I was losing. I was trying to figure out. There was like a lot of life things I needed to learn as well. Due to my childhood and not really getting too much attention and things, my parents, they were very neglectful, and mate, like, I wasn't socialized as a kid. Like, I actually wasn't. Like, I didn't. My parents didn't teach me the right things. You know, you need to be taught as a kid, like how to share and how to be nice to people and all those things. I didn't have a role model that was like a good human being to pay attention to. Like, they were not good parents and role models for me to like attach on. They tried their best, and you know, they had their own stories, and they're not bad people. They just had their own traumas and stuff to deal with. So I don't want to like shit on them, but like, I just didn't learn.
You're saying that from a point of truth and love and respect as well, but truth. Like,
yeah, of course, yeah. So
this is all kind of unraveling.
yeah, I had to learn how to like get along with people. Like, actually, like, the reason I didn't have a good time at school, like, I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't really learn how to like I said, share and, I don't know, be nice and everything. And partly of that part of that is the ADHD, and I've been able to like really, you know, focus and whatever, right? And I had a bit of a rough childhood to the point where like I was struggling as a kid. I had a lot of anxiety, and I didn't realize that until like maybe after I, you know, got really into like psychology and personal development. Like, I realized I was a very, very, very anxious kid, and that's because all my needs weren't being met, and I had to like figure it all out on my own, and didn't, you know what I mean? Like, it was actually rough, and I built big emotional walls. Yeah, and I think that's a pretty common thing with people like that. And when I was at school, like, people, you know, be like, hey, how's it going? I'm not like, I need help, you know. I'm like, everything's all good, guys, you know, whatever. Like, just not being genuine. Like, I'm like, I'm projecting like this. Everything is fine, if not actually really epic, because that's what's happening. And it's like, that was like a defense mechanism. Yeah. And people don't like that person, you know, like, they're like, this guy's a dickhead, you know, whatever. Yeah. I had some people that were nice and whatever, and they really, when they got me one-on-one, they realized I'm not a bad person. That, like, I think the people that really got me one-on-one, where I'm like actually more like genuine, they realized that I'm actually a very kind person, I would say. Yeah. But then in a group, maybe I get a bit anxious and whatever. This is when I'm like in school and kid and whatever, as a kid, primary school, I'm just like, I don't know, just wigging out about shit, you know. And they're not like, they're probably not seeking me out to be like a good, like, they're someone they want to be friends with, right? And in high school, I was just sort of so into games, and I had my own little community with Yu-Gi-Oh. I didn't have many friends at school, right? And anyway, so I had to learn how to.
When you were learning those things, because I think that makes sense, how do you actually go, like, what is the actual path to learning them? I'm imagining there might have been a few figures in your life, maybe a few girls, for instance, that like saw you as a project almost and try to save you. Is that the case?
No, mate, I was by myself.
Yeah? Or
no. They could try, but
when you were getting fit, when you were losing the weight, when you were learning all these things.
No, I just wanted to do it myself.
Yeah, okay.
I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out myself.
So how did you? Do you watch movies? Do you look at people?
Oh, look,
writing notes? Like,
yeah.
Charisma.
I paid
YouTube channels.
There's
a few YouTube channels, right? Like Charisma on Command, I think. But
yeah, definitely. There's things like that. And I tried to pay attention to the people that I knew that people liked. Yeah. And one of those people were Tom, my mate.
Cool.
Everyone liked Tom. There was something about him that people enjoyed, and they liked to be around because whatever reason. And this is just one example. And I paid attention to like, what is it that it is about Tom that everyone likes? And he would be like nice, and he would give compliments, and he'd be there, and he'd be listening, and he'd be very, I don't know, like cheerful. Like it's kind of like at the time it was these happy moments that I thought were cringe at the time. Like, oh, why were you doing like these feelings things, like whatever. But it's actually those things that if you are very genuinely honest and, and you say something like that, that's kind of like a bit like, what I thought was cringe at the time. It's kind of like,
moment of connection.
It's just nice. Yeah. And it builds sort of like this little connection between people. And then you can build on that and and it's like, oh, okay, this, we have a safety thing here. And yeah. And then you can start, joking around and stuff, after that. I don't know. Wait, okay. But I was like learning how to do that. And I think another thing as well, this is a big one, is vulnerability. Because I was so anxious and I had these big emotional walls, I really had to learn and practice to let those walls down and be vulnerable and, share that side with me. Not saying that I'm like vulnerable and anxious, because I don't think I had that awareness at the time, but just like, if I was curious about something, but then, maybe I was thinking like, oh, if I don't know this thing, and people might be like, oh, you don't know this thing, like that's dumb. I'll just be like, I don't know this thing. Like, what is this thing? And then people will be like, and I'm just there like trying to like just being just authentic.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, you're an idiot. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, it's this.
Come here, man. We'll show you.
Yeah, that is this. And I'm like, cheers.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, just trying to, I just have good intentions, and I've really learned to like tell the truth. I think being very honest with your intentions and have good intentions is just so important. And it's just something that I've kept in my life so much, is just intentions. Like, intentions are everything. Even if you do something silly, but you have good intentions, like who cares? Like, that's cool, dude. Like, yeah, you fucked up, but you meant good,
Yeah, there's always room. I think everyone has room for that grace, that forgiveness. Like,
yeah, and you just assume the best of people, and I don't know, and it's crazy because I really tried to do that, and I was trying, and what helped as well was I was so positive because I'm losing weight, and I gained such this passion for life and improving your life. I was very passionate for improving your life, right? I was like, everyone needs to do this because it's feeling great.
Yeah.
People liked the energy, man. Like they liked the energy, and they liked me for what I brought to the table. This positive energy, and and whatnot. Yeah, so it was really cool. And then so that was another aspect I had to work out on my own.
That's so interesting to think about formalizing that. I'm actually super. That's like, that makes me think about learning a pitch, but like for being a human and like being liked. Like, did it kind of feel like that in a sense?
Yeah, like trying to learn like how to do it.
Yeah, because that's mad. What do I have next? Fuck, I really like this.
Well, I can go into where I went with career, and then that's when I went to uni, and then that's what led me to travel. And that's we can tie it in that way.
Yeah, cool. All right, good. Yeah, okay. So we're kind of figuring out from theory how to operate in social settings and getting success for it.
Yeah.
Where to next? Like, when you're feeling great, you're positive, everyone's loving it.
One last thing I need to do was figure out my career.
That's right, because it was fitness and career.
Yeah, and then I realized quick that I was like also social things. I squeezed that one in as well because I realized that was important as well. So I was like, all right, so
because real quick, that is the first time, because a lot of the times you were saying, I'm going to figure this out myself. I'm on my own 2 feet, and that independence is obviously a real strength, but every strength has a weakness. And this is when you were first recognizing that as a weakness, kind of pulling it into the mix. Yep. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yep. And I actually had help as well. Matt and Tom helped me because I would be open. I'd be very open. I'd be like, guys, what about this? I'd talk about it. And shout out to Matt, my other friend. He was very, very good to talk to. He always gave really good insight. So, he helped me a lot. And so did Tom, of course. So, now career. So the way I went about that is like I needed to figure out, first of all, I needed to figure out if uni was maybe a pathway that I could go down.
Yeah.
And let's say, because I didn't really try at school, I always thought I was like stupid because I just couldn't do school and whatever. I needed to make sure that that was the case or not the case.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to uni, but this time I'm actually going to try. And because I didn't do like a ranking from a school, I just graduated. I had to do a tertiary preparation pathway, TPP.
Okay.
And that's sort of like a little bridging course to get into university. That's about 6 months. A lot of high school things and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let's do that.
And how old are you?
20.
Cool.
I'd say 19, 20 or something.
Sure. Like a year or two out.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so I was like, all right, but when I do this, I need to do it. I need to make sure that this is definitely not for me if it doesn't work. So, because I was losing the weight and everything, and I was going to the gym every day, no matter what, no excuses, and very strict diet. And I was very routine. Like I had very, 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 let me go again, very, 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 very good discipline. My discipline was wild, and it's crazy because I wish I had a bit of that now, but it's just a different lifestyle that I'm living at the moment. But mate, my discipline was nuts. Like that. The lack of dopamine I got from exercise, and I got the serotonin and the dopamine from the exercise, but like I just had crazy discipline, and I was able to apply that in uni. So I was able to study a lot, sit down, and do it all. So I needed to apply that and try my best to make sure that if I do fail, then that's not for me. So I went into it, did all my things. It was hard, actually. Not at that point, I wasn't diagnosed with anything. Eventually, I was diagnosed with ADHD. So I had ADHD.
Okay.
And not officially diagnosed with dyslexia, but almost, I think it's obvious that I have. I just stopped talking to my psychiatrist when I went traveling and whatever. But yeah, dyslexic as well, which is hard. I was fucking reading, man, sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. If it's a good book, I'll get into it, but like the actual act of just having to read.
And uni's not exactly giving you the finest reading materials usually, right?
No, those fucking academic papers suck dick.
Jesus.
And I'm trying to do it right. Get an academic paper. Yeah, you have to read the whole thing. They read the summary, and they're like, I was doing that, and I'm like sitting there for hours reading these and I was losing my shit, but I did it. I fucking went there and read everything, and it
sounds like David Goggins,
I did David Goggins on uni, brother. Like that's what I did. Like it was hectic. I was there giving all my time and everything. But the reading was really hard. The other stuff was like I did math, and math was pretty easy. Biology and chemistry sort of made sense in a mathematical way. Sort of some of it makes sense. Biology, that was interesting because it's kind of like learning another language. It's sort of like its own language. And it's just a lot of
biology.
Yeah, so that's like a basic sort of thing. It's just like high school sort of level.
Sure.
Learn about the cell and all the different parts of the cell, for example. Because it's the pathway to get into uni. It's sort of just catching you up on this stuff.
Yeah, this is the 6-month course.
Sure. Yeah. So, but that's like you have to learn a lot. You have to remember a lot of things with biology. It's not like something that you can make sense of.
No,
it sort of can, in a way, but you just have to remember a lot of words to name different things and remember or whatever, right? So that was it. That was interesting because I don't think my memories are the best, but that was fun. And then the writing part of it was difficult. Like I had to learn how to write a sentence.
Sure.
Yeah, which is what you're meant to do in school, right? But I didn't do that. I was good at math. I was really good at math in school, and the math came really easy. I swept that. But the writing, I had to put a lot more time and effort in. Anyway, trying. I'm like, fuck, whatever. First wave of results, boom, like HDs and everything. And I was like, fuck, yes. I was like, I was like, I can do it, and I was like, fuck yeah, and I was like making friends with like awesome people there, and I was having a great time. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. I'm just doing it, and then 6 months goes by, I got HDs and everything. Actually, one of the courses, the one with the writing, I got just a distinction. So whatever. I don't give a fuck. But but those marks don't matter towards your GPA.
Yeah, you just need to pass.
Yeah. But I wanted to get it. I didn't want to just pass. I wanted to get all of it right. And then I was like, okay, I can do this. I got something between these ears that can help me. So And I just had to figure out what I want to do now. And I was like, tossing up a bunch of things. I was like, fuck, what's important? There was one time I was tripping mushrooms. It's actually really funny. So I was living in this house in Sippy Downs, and you think of like, let's think of like 3 circles just sort of next to each other. Okay, one circle, that's the suburb I lived sort of on the edge towards the other 2 circles.
Sure.
One circle on the right there is like cowfield and whatever, farmland and cowfield. And on the other one is like awesome national park.
Sick.
Yeah, like a wetlands.
So that's mushrooms, that's like hike.
Yes.
That's where I live.
Yep. So I would go to that circle, and pick up some mushrooms. And I was with this one of my friends at the time, and then we'd come back, dry them all out, whatever. We wouldn't trip all the time, but we would have them and share them with people if they wanted to, whatever. Trip with the housemates and whatnot. I just remember one time I went off. I was tripping with my friends initially, but then I went off into the national park and just went off by myself to have like a nice deep think about things, And I remember I found a nice piece of dirt in the shade. It was winter in the sunny coast and it was beautiful because it's like perfect degrees. And I was just laying there with the shade over my head. I'm there, just rested up, thinking about what the fuck do I do? Like, where am I? What do I want? What's important? Like, right now, I'm figuring it out, And it was funny because and it's hard because I'm tripping, bro. Like, I'm like, I can't write this down. I can't trust myself that I
can't write at the best of times.
Yeah, legit, right? And I can't remember. I can't trust myself that I can remember the things that I wanted to, what I want to remember and what I think of. So I basically got my phone out and recorded myself talk, laying there, and I was like, all right. So, let's just, for example, I'm not going to go through everything that I talked about. I was like, all right, what do I want? What's important to me in my life? What's the necessities and everything, like, do I really want this 9-to-5 job, and only get a certain amount of time to go travel and everything, like, do I want that? I was like, that's probably something that I don't want to do. Or do I get a job that I might like that doesn't pay very well? And then it's like, that's giving you less financial freedom. Like, yeah, that's an option, but like, it's not very safe. Or do I try and go for a high paying job and then try and retire early, And I kind of figured out that like the time that I really wanted to be alive and what made life worth living for was the experiences, the spare time that you had to have fun and share with your friends and family. Like, you got your job and you can have fun doing it and you're doing that. And then you're also doing all these other things to do that as well. And there's only a certain amount of time that you actually have to play.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to just, that's why I'm alive. I want to maximize that amount of time
to play,
to do it. Right. So there's other things where you can like nomad around and do that and stuff and whatever, but like career-wise, right? So what I settled on was teaching. And, I thought maybe I could go back to school and, get revenge on the system and try and be a cool teacher. The teacher that I never had, that I probably needed, try and get in touch with those fat nerdy guys and be like, hey guys, it's actually all right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the gym.
That's not uncool. That's really cool, actually, and just whatever, right? But the cool thing about teaching is like you get like 4 months holiday.
Yeah.
And you get paid as well.
Yeah.
You can travel, you can hang out. When I have kids, like I really want a family, of course. That's like a big dream of mine. Actually, it's one of the things that I've always known that I wanted was to have kids and have the coolest kids, man. Yeah. And I'll treat those kids right. Same thing, right? I want to be the parent that whatever. I never had that. But if
don't brush it off. It's a cool thing to say.
No, yeah. But if I was a teacher and they're on holidays, man, I'm also on holidays. So we can go do fun shit.
True.
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah.
Do you mean we can go camping, we go surfing, we go rock climbing. Where I'm going to spend time with my little humans that I want to bring up into this world.
Yeah, so you're all in school together and you're all on holidays together.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, it's good. And before I even have kids, I can go travel in that time as well. Like it's just awesome. And PE teacher, I was doing outdoor ed. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that was like the little thing that I worked out, and there was a lot of little meta things that I was thinking about at the time as well, which I won't get into now, but pretty interesting. It's pretty funny as well. I was sort of figuring it all out, like on a very like animalistic, what are my needs here?
Sure.
Like whatever, right? And so I figured out I want to be a teacher.
Mhm.
So going back to uni, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do teaching. So I'm going to do teaching, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
I sat down and I thought deeply, what would I like to do? And I always thought it'd be cool to be a teacher as well. I got like actually, it's funny, and people would say this now. I have a bit more of a gift with people, and I think it's because I had that time to like work out how to talk to people and everything.
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
weird. Like I've done sales now.
Yeah.
I've become a very
I mean, for instance, in the
successful in
sales
sales.
office, the people who start out really bad and have to learn from theory how to do it are
Yeah.
always the best in the long run. Every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happened. And then I started doing education as my career at university, and that was going well. Now, 1 month in, so 1 semester in, or midway through that semester, I realized I have ADHD, and it was affecting my university. The reading and the attention that I had was hard.
Yeah.
And I went through the process of getting myself diagnosed, which cost me a lot, like freaking a couple $1,000.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude,
Okay.
this sucks.
Okay.
I went through the private system so I can get it faster, so I could, get some medication for the university, which was,
Right.
happening.
Okay. You couldn't just get that illegally?
Probably, but I don't know. I wanted.
Sure. Whatever.
Yeah. It's sort of like a reliable source, maybe. I wanted to be on it. I wanted to like see how it would affect me,
Yeah.
And I went through like that whole process, which was pretty wild actually. So I'm like pretty motivated, have this energy, and like people are like, yeah. Now, I started taking medication, and I think because I was already in this state of being, very motivated, disciplined, and everything, that's when it helps you the most.
Okay.
With ADHD. Like it's not just one pill that can just fix everything and all of a sudden you can get into this state. You need to have these you need to have that discipline, and you need to have these things set.
Structure.
The structure as well for it to really work. And mate, it worked. Like it was like, if I could just explain it, like it was like putting on glasses for your brain. Like it's like I'm
imagining Limitless. You know that movie? Is that how it kind of feels?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, but it's kind of hard because like, yeah. Think of like you have your blurry vision and you put on glasses and you can see everything clearly. This is like that. Like I would think about things, and I'll be sitting down like without medication to think about something. I'll be like, all right, there's this issue, and I really need to get my head around the whole thing, think deeply through it, and then figure out what the best thing is for this issue and what decisions I need to make and whatever put in place to stop it.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you're in the middle of that and you're like, boom, distraction. Like you're not getting enough dopamine in your brain to sort of hold you there on this like mundane, boring thought. Now, at that time of my life, I was able to do it because I was exercising, had the structure, had the routine, eating very healthy.
Yeah.
That's your natural medication for ADHD, and I was able to do it, right? Now, with the little bonus there, mate, it was just like, okay, yep, done. All right, what else is there I need to work out? This thing. Boom. Mate, I worked out everything. I like everything that was like an issue in my life. I was like, understand that now. Like, I understand why that's happening and what I need to do to fix that in my life. And I can take steps to fix all of that. And I was doing it all. And it really helped me in that way. And it really like, I would say it calmed me down, like in a conversation, like in a group setting, instead of like, I had this like energy of just like a fire hose, right? You turn on the fire hose, like, bah, 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 and, and it's like, it's hard to control.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I would sit there and just pay attention. Like a normal normal person, right? It's annoying because I wish I had that just normally, right?
Yeah.
And
so basically
instead of a fire hose,
the garden hose where you can actually.
Yeah, I was going to say a water pistol. It's like, pew, 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 like, yes, like, and then insert whatever you need to say.
Do you think it was still the same intensity though? Because the fire hose is a lot of water. Like that's cool. Like it's a lot of energy. Was it lessened because of that?
Yeah. Okay. More accurate. I was very sharp.
Yeah.
Not in the intelligence way, but that's not what I mean, but like just very accurate. And
did you find that worked better or worse at making friends, at getting girls, at keeping relationships?
Well, better.
Yep.
I was like, what's really nice is listening to people and hearing their problems and whatever they're doing in their life, and then, well, responding appropriately, like if they just want to be heard and whatnot, or trying to help them with their issues with problem solving. I don't know. I am a guy and I probably did that more, which I eventually learned that, you don't always need to do that. You just need to listen, let people figure out their own issues, and they all figure out their own issues in time. I was living such an awesome life figuring it out. I felt like I had all the answers, right? Yeah, exactly. And, in hindsight now, I'm like, you just need...
Yu-Gi-Oh! Gym, uni, pill.
I got the Yu-Gi-Oh! And the pills, whatever. If you have ADHD, sure, mate, yeah. But I didn't really recommend it for people unless I could see that they're struggling and they could do it. They would help them, sorry. But, yeah, sorry, where were we at?
You're taking the pill. It's glasses. It's a water fire hose.
Oh, yeah. So it sort of helped a lot.
Yeah.
And at uni, it was really good. It was really awesome, and I was doing really well. And it made it a lot easier. It just means I didn't have to read that article 5 times to get my head around it. I just read it once, right?
Yeah.
So that was nice. And I was living my best life. I had it done. I was so disciplined. Uni was going smoothly, like awesome. And then I'm living my best life. And I'm like, this is cool. Every decision I'm making is just, it all makes sense. I don't have any regrets at the moment. It's all good. There was one thing I wasn't too set on teaching. I was trying to think, I was like, is that something that I really, really, really want to do? I was like, am I really passionate about PE and math? Not really. I would be passionate about the teaching the kids thing and having that role, which is a lot of teaching of what teaching is, but I'm not.
It's not your calling.
Yeah, so there was that little thing that was a bit hesitant, but
it's good for your life situation, but it's not your calling.
Yeah, but at the time I was like, man, even if I'll give it a go, and if it really isn't something that I want to do, that's not the end of the world, because like I have the degree, and that degree opens doors to a lot of other things as well. A teaching degree is it's very cool. So I was like, I'll just do it. That's fine. That wasn't something that was bugging me, but it was there. Now, at this time, we had a housemate that moved in, and it was my friend from uni, and this guy is Andy. Okay. Now, Andy, like the one I mentioned before, who inspired me to travel, so he is someone that just came back from South America. I met him, and then he went to South America.
We're getting dreams planted in this house that might derail us.
Yeah. So he initially, I became best friends with Andy. Yeah. Still best friends with Tom and Matt. They're my boys. Yeah. But Andy instantly, I just like, he's just up there as well, like he's different, right? We just got along like a house on fire, yeah. And he was a bit older, so he was 5 years older than me. Okay. So I looked up to him. He was like the older brother that I never had and always wanted, like. And I always clung to like male figures that are older than me because I didn't really have a good one. So I kind of looked up to him a lot. And he's, mate, I want you to meet Andy. And Andy, you're the best. I love you. He's the best. Yeah. I love him. He's such a cool, nice person. And he also has ADHD. Okay. And that's why we got along really well. Like, mate, put 2 ADHD people together. Yeah. And the best time. Yeah, sure. If they're cool. Yeah. Some ADHD people are annoying. Yeah. And that's fine. You just figure your shit out and then we can be friends. But,
so Andy's in this, okay. I'm definitely familiar with this scene. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's moved in, and me, Matt, and Tom, and him that was the best. And we're just hanging out, doing a thing. Anyway, so he went traveling before he moved in, and I knew him before that. And then he came back, and then he's telling me about this trip and all that. And, previously I knew about traveling, but I was like, no, when I was like fat nerd person, I was like, I don't want to travel. That's dumb, whatever. Like, not someone that I felt like I needed to travel and adventure. Now, when I lost weight, I was like, doing all this stuff, and I was actually really getting into hiking at just around my local areas, like the Glasshouse Mountains, doing some cool shit, awesome. I was loving it. I was like, this is great, but nothing too. I never like did multi-day hikes or whatever. It was just that, and so he went backpacking, and he was telling me about it, and I'm like, holy shit, that seems really awesome. That seems so fun. I would love to do a big backpacking trip in my life. But I'm like, oofed, oofed. When can I do that?
Yeah.
You know, and I was this is a big thing. You're like, what do I do? I'm in my second year of uni, and I still have half of this year. Actually, I was doing a bit of 3 subjects
Okay.
at uni because I was still like, I was trying to not over stress.
Sure.
I'm
yeah.
still like, I was not, you know, I was getting still HDs and everything. And I think because I had this perfectionism, I really wanted to like get those HDs. So I just sat at 3 subjects instead of 4 for the semester, for just that 2 semesters for the main degree, just to ease into it, right?
Sure.
And so that basically I was still, let's say I have 3 years left of uni. Now, because the teaching degree is 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I was like, all right, what do? I really want to go traveling. I'm in this situation right now that I want to do it now, but I'm in this really good situation with university where I'm like on this
And
roll.
the rest of life as well, you're on this role.
Yeah.
So basically, this role you've got yourself into for the last few years, where do I direct the momentum? Do I direct it
do I go traveling
towards uni, or
do I go? The thing is
travel?
with the teaching degree, it's like, okay, if it was like a 3-year degree and I had like 2 years left,
Yeah.
or one or whatever, one half, I would have just, and let's say it was just like a business degree or
Sure.
something, just like it's not like leading you directly into like a job.
Yeah.
It's sort of just like giving you this degree, teaching you how to think and whatever, right? I would have just finished it and then gone traveling.
Yeah.
Now, because I was doing teaching and I still had like 3 years left, with teaching, you kind of, you can, but I really didn't see it as an option to finish that degree and then travel, like do a big trip.
Okay.
Because you're sort of like, you're doing all these placements at the end and you're sort of setting yourself up finally to do this one role.
Sure.
And you're so fresh, like you're going to want to go and work straight away and just sort of apply it straight away. You're like, all right, it's time to finally do it. Like I'm not going to travel and then come back and whatever, like that doesn't make sense. If I'm gonna finish my degree, I'm gonna work for at least a year, but 2 years probably, to really get to the point where you're pretty comfortable with it all, where you can leave and come back. You know, so I face this thing where I'm like, shit, do I just go? Do I finish my uni degree, which is 5 years or whatever, and then go traveling? And I already kicked off late because out of school I worked for 2.5 years.
You're like 21 at this stage already.
Yeah, 21. Yeah, and I was like, do I really want to travel? Maybe in my late 20s and whatnot, and you know, like I could travel now. Like at that time I could already have like a long-term girlfriend or a dog or a car or like all these ties in. Like I just know. But right now I'm like. Right now, I could
go for a year.
I could go right now. I could just. There's nothing right now. I have no ties. Like I did have a girlfriend at the time, and we ended up going traveling together. But that was all just a part of it. You know, we could have. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm like, shit. What do? Do I just go travel and then come back to uni later, and do that? And I was just posed this thing. I initially decided to do 6 months. And, you know, do like a pause and then just do 6 months and then just see if I want to keep going, I will. If I don't want to keep going, I'll stop and then go back to uni. See if it's for me. Maybe I might not like it. Yeah, I deferred for a semester. And then I went over there and I'm like,
this is living.
I was like, this is what I am needing to do right now. Like this is it. Like this is what I want to do.
Cool.
Yep. And then I just did my 11 months. Initially, I was like 6 months. 11 months. Boom.
Yeah.
Having the best time, hiking and, you know, going to the beach and whatever, like just traveling around, having the best time doing hike. Like I spent 6 months in fucking Peru, bro. Like just hitchhiking around, went to the Amazon, did all this crazy shit.
I remember seeing this on you. Yeah, I looked back in your Insta.
Yeah. In the mountains there, just hiking and climbing and stuff. Like I was like, this is the best. So I decided like, I'm just going to travel now and I'm going to try and do a big trip and maybe I'll come back into uni after or potentially maybe come back, work a little bit and then go to Nepal. And then after I want to go back to uni. And I'm 11 months in doing my thing. So happy. Boom. COVID. And I'm like, fuck this. Cause I'm like, it's not that I couldn't choose not to travel. I was forced not to travel and I really just wanted to keep traveling. So I'm like, man, I had to go back and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Like,
and now you've kind of gone out of uni as well. So it's like,
yeah, I wasn't ready to go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to keep traveling. So I was like, but then when can I travel? Can I do that? When can I travel? 6 months, a year, 2 years? What is it? I'm like, hopefully. Yeah, it was like really annoying. And what was really annoying about the whole thing is like, because you couldn't really plan a long-term thing because you didn't
No.
know what the long-term thing
'Cause it was like 1 month, 1 month, 1 month.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could have gone back. Yeah. I don't know. I decided that I wanted to keep traveling.
So what were you doing in COVID?
Yeah, so I decided I'll just work. I'll just work and do different things and whatever, and save up money and try and do some other hobbies. Like I actually learned to surf
Cool.
during COVID, which was a
Cool.
huge, like there's a huge tick. Like with COVID, there was good stuff, right? So I developed friendships with people and I learned to surf. And then I saved up a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which funded my next trip.
Sick.
Yeah. The only annoying thing is like then that COVID lasted for like 2 years, dude. Nearly 2 years. It's like I was hoping like a year.
Half our youth.
Dude, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and it's annoying because like I would have just left after fucking 6 months. Like, and it was like I got real depressed in that time as well because like, man, am I like stuck here forever? Like this COVID thing, you know, like it's bullshit.
I know exactly where. Yeah.
It's so annoying. Like, do I travel
so
Australia? Do I buy a van and do this, or do I just wait for the borders to open, which might never open? Like, who knows? Which is really annoying. So I didn't. There was periods of that time where like I wasn't working for like a few months, just not wanting to work because I was just over it, and then living off my savings, you know. And I did some traveling as well. I went and did the Jatbulla Trail in Australia, the Northern Territory. It was really awesome hike. I did with my nephews, so there was a bit of things that we did and stuff that was cool. And but I saved up money. I saved up like 25 grand.
Cool.
Yeah. Could have saved up a lot more, but I was just still doing my thing and chugging along. But yeah. And then finally the borders opened and I was like, sweet, I'm going back. Yeah. And then this time I did Peru 6 months, Ecuador for 3 months, and Colombia for a month and a half. I went back to Mexico and I'm like, I'm finishing it off. And I did Mexico 6 months, boom, Central America 9 months, back to Colombia to do the north, which I didn't do before. And then back to Ecuador to go back to the Secret Garden to climb Cotopaxi, which that's where I was volunteering at the time, Secret Garden.
Chimborazo or Cotopaxi?
Cotopaxi.
Oh, so you did Chimborazo the first time?
No, mate. I did Chimborazo the second time.
Oh, and Cotopaxi, both of them?
Yeah, you ready? No, I didn't. It's bullshit. I'll explain. Okay. So I wanted to do it before, and I was going to do it on my first trip, and you just need to wait for the right time where there's 2 really fit people and you can tag along. Okay. So it's like you have 2 guides. So
Cotopaxi is a bit different.
Yeah.
Beautiful volcano, by the way.
Yeah.
Conical, like when you.
It's like Mount Fuji.
Yeah, it's like the emoji is Cotopaxi. Like.
Yep. Yeah, it's red as well. Let's see. You put a picture of me. It was sick. That view at the hostel was sick. But I wanted to climb it because I'm looking at this fucking volcano every day. Like, I cannot wait to climb you, bro. Like, it was like 5,895 meters. And it was sick. I just wanted to climb it. And I'm just waiting for the time. There's a few times where I could have done it, but I was like a little bit sick, or I just had a tattoo on my foot that the manager at the hostel gave me and stuff. So things didn't align, but I was going to do it soon. Boom, COVID hit. I had to go. They shut down the national park.
It's okay. So this is the first time.
And now I was like, my quest. The reason I went back is because like I was set on climbing that mountain. So I'm going to go back and climb Cotopaxi. Yeah. That is like what I'm doing.
And you just tagged Chimborazo on as well?
No, so I came back and then Cotopaxi was active.
Oh, shit.
It's an active volcano.
Okay. Right.
And then they closed it.
Oh, no.
And then I went all the way. I spent like a year and a half and it was closed the whole time. And I'm there like, fuck off. Like, as if like I'm come back to do this. And they fucking closed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I came back to do the other content as well because I figured like it'd be really cool. Like I want to keep learning Spanish and everything, you know, and do Central America because it was really awesome. There's so many cool things in Central America. Oh my God. And now that
Frito Bastards Land for one.
Yeah, mate. Oh, where we met. That place is sick. But yeah, go back there and not be able to do it sucks. I was like, I'll just have to do Chimborazo, which is way harder.
Yeah.
Like Cotopaxi is so much easier than Chimborazo. That 400 meters.
But it was also the romantic one that you were looking at.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And it was still closed up until I left.
Yeah.
And then it opened up like 3 months after I left. And I was like, classic. Yeah.
But you'll do it one day though.
Yeah. I have to come. It's a good reason to go back to Secret Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went to America and came back. Yeah, so like basically the decision to go traveling was on the basis of like I want this life experience to do it now while I'm like young and I don't have any responsibilities and just living like I don't see myself doing long-term travel like that later in my life because
Yeah.
I want to do these big things in my life. I want to have a family and have a career and settle down a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And unless I have like a midlife crisis, divorce, and you know, I go off maybe sure, but like,
So I guess I was asking all those questions
but that
earlier,
is why I
probably
did it.
prematurely, right? Should have probably asked them now. Like, having gained that whole story and that insight, it was quite clear that it was really just maybe a year or two kind of big travel you had in mind, and that's just been extended throughout your 20s because of
COVID.
all sorts of COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Having done that now and been back now, like, yeah, where does it sit with you? Where does the backpacking sit with you? Where does the career sit with you? You're gonna go back to uni? You're gonna keep on traveling? You found something there that maybe you can like make a life out of that? Like, where are you at?
Yeah, there's a few options. Now, uni is definitely back on the table. Now, another aspect, actually, we didn't really go over it, but the other aspect of it is now I'm not on medication anymore. So that it's fine. And I don't think I want to go back onto it just because you know, long story short, I feel like you sort of get accustomed to it and you lose the effectiveness wears off a bit, you know,
Okay.
sort of anyway, but yeah, so I just felt like, and then I just want to be off it and then try and become comfortable with who I am without it.
Yeah, cool.
Which I have over that big trip because I did that during COVID and then I went on that huge trip without medication. That first trip I was on medication and I was living that high life with that. And I was having the best time, making the best friends and learning so much about myself. But that was me with medication. So that's different to me without
second
medication.
trip is like maybe a bit more, as you say, a bit more like, oh, people are gonna not be here for it, or slightly more because you're a bit rougher around the edges without the medication. But that's probably a good thing long term.
Yeah. So I really had to become comfortable with how I was without it. And I just had to accept sometimes, man, like I'm not going to chat to people that are boring, you know. I'm only going to chat to them when they're cool and they stimulate me in that special way, you know, which is, it's a joke. But like, you know what I mean? Like you get some people and you're like, yep, yeah, cool, yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, you get some people that just like match the energy.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they give you that energy.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who sort of like
stick.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're like, yeah, anyway. And I became more comfortable.
And again, you have so much, and it's so cool because you have so much time for them. You're going around all of Australia and Europe probably one day, like, you know, just connecting with these people that you might have only been in a hostel with for like a night or two, but like you feel that in the time, and then you have the courage to feel that again.
Yeah, I'll hit them up. Yeah. Some of them, you know, the ones that like stick, right? I'll definitely hit them up because they're the ones, you know, I'm not afraid to hit them up in the future if I'm going their way.
Okay, so yeah, where are we at now? There's uni's back on the cards, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So, now where I'm at the moment. So I came back last year, like, nearly a year ago. Did Christmas, worked a bunch, and then I've just been traveling for the past 5 months. I was not planning to go traveling again. The plan was get back, save money because I was motivated to get into the grind again and test myself in different careers. My sister opened up a disability support clinic thing, you know, like a company. Yeah. And I was keen to jump into that and just sort of see what I'm like in that sort of field. Yeah. And then if I did decide to go back to uni and finish that career, then I could use that, you know, as a job on the side. Yeah. And yeah, there was like a few different options. Definitely uni as well. I'm not sure if I want to commit myself all that for that whole time just at the sunny coast. I'm trying to see if there's other courses around. But the thing is, I had a bit of a romance and sort of met this girl in the Secret Garden, Ecuador, and we got along very well. Yeah. And she came over to Australia to come say hello, and I decided to show her around, you know, and we basically just been traveling for the past 5 months. I'm low-key trying to convince her, you know, this is a pretty cool country, mate. Yeah, maybe you are.
She's quite I mean, I've only spent, 24, 36 hours with her, but who knows, you know, we're all young and dumb monkeys, but like, she's definitely got that mix match of your energy, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Feel very, very comfortable and connected, and it really does work. Like I've had a few relationships, and after every single one, you always learn more about about yourself and what you would like and whatnot. And I've always been searching for that person to share this dream of mine, which is have a family and have a cool life with. And I have high expectations for those people.
Yeah.
It's not those people, for that person. And because I want to do so many cool things in my life, and that's a lot of adventures and whatever. I want them to also want to do that as well, and also be cool and not be like a dickhead, and just be like, I don't want them to be like naggy and, I'm not saying, I don't know, naggy might be a bit bad.
But I think we all get the image you're creating. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a cool person.
Yeah.
I want to be friends with them, and then
I think anyone who listens to this point can understand you and understand the kind of party you're gonna be.
Yeah.
For,
I want them to appreciate my annoyingness in games and my stinginess, and there's all these little things that anyway. But so in Ecuador I met this girl, this German girl, and really cool. Has more or less been really, really good. And it's been awesome. So we've been traveling and everything, but she's going home soon, and then now it's time to lock in. We're doing the potential long distance thing. That's gonna be great.
Said that with enthusiasm.
No, I've only heard things, and can respect what people.
Yeah.
If I hear a lot of people saying the same thing, I have a respect for that thing. That's probably gonna suck.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's gonna work, because I think it's so hard, and we both have so many things that we want to do in our lives, and it's actually really bad timing at the time right now, because I want to do this career thing, and she also wants to do a bit more traveling and everything. It might not be the best time at the moment, but that's all right. Whatever. But at the moment, that's why I've been traveling. But now I'm going to go and do that. And then I actually am considering, I think what's most likely going to happen is go back and finish the uni degree.
And build that, what you were looking at 5 years ago now, or 4 years ago, like do that route. At least check it out. Yeah,
the teaching thing. And I'm now, because like how I said, I was like bit hesitant on the teaching thing because I wasn't too passionate about it. Interesting enough, now I'm a lot more into sports.
Yeah.
And I love it, playing volleyball and watching sports. And I just have I used to love playing sports as a kid. I lost that because I went into gaming. And then even in my productive stage, I didn't think it was useful because I was so productive and trying to, I was like, what's the point of that? That's not productive,
Optimize.
Like what's the point? That's dumb, whatever. But now I'm like, yeah, maybe it's dumb, but it's fun, and I want to do things that are fun, like it's actually cool. So I'm much more passionate for that. And actually it's an outdoor ed thing as well. Like it's a combined degree. So I'm going to be an outdoor ed teacher as well. Yeah. And after the traveling so much. That's what you've been
doing naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So that seems like something I'm going to do now.
It's so funny that, because I think and I wonder where you sit with this, the kind of, and it's all internal, right? It's all projecting that out onto the world, but you might feel like the world or people or parents or whoever judges us. Obviously, it's just our internal judgments. But I think it would be very easy for you to see a timeline and be like, oh, fuck, I'm behind, or am I doing the right thing? But are you susceptible to that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It was hard because especially traveling the second time, because a lot of the people that you meet, they were doing their uni degrees and they finished during COVID.
Yeah.
And then after COVID, they all came out, right? So I'm traveling and everyone's like, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, whatever, right? I'm like, fuck, bro.
I could be able to say I'm a teacher.
Yeah, well, I wish, but I had this complicated thing with COVID, I started late, I can explain it, but I'm just chilling, bro. I'm traveling, I just said that, whatever. Yeah. I don't really care because I know what is a reality for me, and I know that all the decisions that I made were good. Potentially, I can look back and see if that was the right decision to go traveling. Maybe in hindsight, if I knew COVID, obviously can't, but if I knew COVID was coming, maybe I probably should have just finished my degree because that's would have aligned perfectly, which is fucking annoying as well. But I obviously didn't know COVID was going to happen. So I can't regret that decision. So, but no, I don't really care. Now it's hard because I'm like, fuck, I'm 26, 27 soon. So, and I don't have a career, so there's that pressure to do it, and that's fine. I always thought I would do it later anyway. I knew that I would come back in my later life when I got that travel bug, long-term travel bug, out of my system.
Mm.
And now, but it's hard because, and now I can do it, right? But now it's hard because like you still want to travel. I definitely don't want to travel for as long anymore.
Mm.
Just because there's so many cool things I want to do.
Yeah.
So many cool things that are out there, so many countries I still want to see and things to do and stuff. But I still want to do a career, and that's still important. And it's obviously important, so I can go and I can even travel as a teacher. Like that's such a cool career, man. Like you can do international teaching and everything. And
you're kind of selling it to me. Yeah, I mean, it's very cool.
Wait, do you want to hear another thing?
Yeah, go for
See,
it.
before you think about it too much, let me just add one more thing. Travel as a teacher, yes. Be a teacher here, wherever. 4 months holiday, you can travel in that time.
Yeah.
You can do awesome things in the time off as well.
Yeah,
you get paid during that time, so you can still easily travel. Like you don't have to figure out time off and whatever. The pay isn't the best.
Yeah.
But
if you're going backpacking,
well, I'm not worried because I don't live an expensive lifestyle. I'm not going out drinking all the time. Like I don't drink, and I do drink occasionally, but no, I don't. I'm not a drinker. Like I rarely drink.
How much does a teacher get paid? 60 grand?
Oh, I'm sure it's gone up now.
Yeah.
But you can get like maybe 80. I don't know.
Yeah.
I should know. It's changed during COVID.
This is the thing for me, and this is putting myself into this, but I mean, we both did the same sales job, right? Basically, and they really sell you this dream of big money, a direct path towards pretty big money, right?
Yeah.
And I think you and I both kind of had the potential to run that, right? If we look at us, oh, okay, yeah, I could have run that, but at what cost, right? And I kind of got caught up in it. I'm sure there's moments where you've probably been susceptible to it maybe as well. Like, it's like, hang on, but what do I, like that mushroom trip you had, like when I sit down and figure out what do I actually want? What are my priorities? It's like, obviously I can have money. Like everyone can have money, but do I need money? Am I willing to sacrifice this to get money? Because 80 grand a year, I can probably have my little farm with my little ute and my little farm, like chicken and cows, veggies, because that costs no money. I don't know if it's going to suit my, like, and when I think about what I actually want, it doesn't cost a lot of money. So therefore, why would I sacrifice my soul or my time?
Yeah, of course,
for it. Like,
exactly. That's why I live frugally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
Because when you say no to something, which is what being frugal is, what being stingy is saying no to a lot of things. There's always a yes on the other side of that no.
And when you do say yes, it's like you say yes to things that people just say yes to all the time, and they're like, that's their normal. But when I say yes to something like that, I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. Like wow, Domino's pizza, great, or whatever. Like, oh my God, look at this big drink, or I don't know, fucking whatever, right? But like going out and get a burger, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's sick. Like, that's awesome. I'm really excited, but people are like, well, that's just lunch.
That's just the standard. That's the standard of living. And I think that's a really cool thing. It's quite a disciplined thing because you're setting your baseline of existence maybe in line with, someone in the third world rather than everyone in Melbourne, bloody hell, is spending everything they get, and that's the standard.
Those third world people are living it up, bro. Like you can go to one of these restaurants out there and get this 3-course soup, main dish, drink.
Yeah.
3 course, but this fucking awesome meal for like $1.50.
But $1.50 for them is $15, right?
Oh, I know, but right? But the food is
actually good.
It's actually really good. Like, okay, there's some crappy sort of stuff, but like, maybe spend a tiny bit more and you get a really good quality like menu del dia.
Yeah,
mate, that I would eat that for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I don't care. Like that was awesome food. I can cook that stuff, right? But I personally hate cooking because it's
this thing.
Tedious
I often say to people, I'm like. And I think you've got it because of the stinginess, I think is ironically the kind of spine of this, like the foundations of it. But if you're not so disciplined in that sense and you just want a normal, good life, Australia is a hard place to do it. Like if you fall into the culture, Australian culture, which does have you spending everything, like you're going to be just in some shithole suburbs, like, compared to going to Colombia. Or that's why everyone goes to Bali, right? Because it's like, this is just easier to live that kind of life.
Are you talking about travelers coming to Australia, or you mean like Australians?
No, Australians. Like, I try to say to most people, and obviously it's not realistic because they have their friends and family here and they are conditioned in those cultural ways to not do it. But if you were just looking for a nice, peaceful, cool life where you can eat good food and, be in the sun. And
I've highly considered opening up a hostel over there.
Exactly. Like living elsewhere, that's the ticket.
If nothing works out here, and I really, mate, imagine like if I get into the grind, teaching, if I can't do it, bro, I'll just move there. I'll move over there. I don't care.
I mean, mate,
like,
that's what I kind of already done.
yeah, dude.
Just-
Like, mate, El Salvador. Oh my god, I could live there surfing all the time. That's just oh my god.
and
It's
so,
awesome.
I mean, you could literally come back here for 2 months, work your ass off, and then just be 10 months in El Salvador.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
cool.
Okay, if you figure out some sort of job that you can do online that's like just
and then
pays a
even
little bit, you
easier.
know, like
Yeah.
you can work like 1 day a week
Yeah.
and then live frugally and then just surf all the time
optimize it,
and
what
just
you
surf all
optimize it
day.
for. It's crazy, isn't it? And I think that's the cool stuff that seems very obvious to you and me because we've done so much travel. But like to a big section of the people, like of the population, that 21-year-old version of you who picked uni instead of picking travel does not know this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
and
important.
before they get the dog and before they get the girlfriend and the kids, hang on, man. Maybe you want an El Salvador hostel, and there's girls in El Salvador and there's dogs in El Salvador. You know, like,
It's a lot of dogs in South America. Yeah, it's interesting because I tell people that I traveled, in that, you know, like for 19 months I traveled that second time and I would have spent like 10 to 15 grand, maybe
cooked.
Yeah, nothing.
Wow.
And I tell people that, and also you can see
$25 a day.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You work it out.
Yeah.
Okay. I tell people that, and also tell them about all the cool things you can do, and they are like, "What the fuck? Like, how is that possible? Like, people are spending 15 grand on like maybe not 15 grand, but like they'll spend like 10 grand on an awesome holiday in Japan for like 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks,
or
2
like
to 4 weeks.
a jet ski or something, you know?
Yeah, that's oh my god, some bullshit.
It's like what?
They go on like a nice like royal hostel, like royal experience to some fucking expensive thing, you know, beach for 10 grand. You know, I was like, mate, you could travel for a year with 10 grand.
Yeah,
easily. Like easily, just volunteer at hostels, and it's awesome. It's actually like the best time traveling was volunteering at the hostels. I worked as a guide in so many different spots and for like companies, and then worked in a hostel at La Guana. It was awesome. That was the best time, and it's partly because it gave me that structure, which is nice, and the routine, which is good. Have a little mix up, you know. It's good.
So I don't think you can do 19 months just on the road. That's tough. Like,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Do you,
unless you go into a lot of different places, and maybe you're working along the way.
Again, have you toyed with the idea of, because there's obviously value in that lesson and showing the people that. Have you toyed with the idea of, you know, cliche as it is, becoming a content creator or something and showing people the way of how to do that?
Yeah, maybe. I always thought like maybe I should have done that because like, because that seems like the way to go. You know, you just your job is doing cool shit, and I know I just don't know if I have the patience to like sit down and edit the videos and do it. And also I'm like,
so is it your experience, or is it just some weird shared experience to the masses?
Yeah, no, it's also like, I don't really like, I do like social media for some things. I do like posting some like my stories and everything, you know, and I do that, but it's like for my friends and family, but I'm not like wanting to do like, I don't know, I could do it. I guess I would be open to it. It's just, I just didn't really want to put like the actual effort and time to like sweat it out and, you know, do all that editing and whatnot. And it's just like
not guaranteed success.
It's also, not guaranteed. It would be cool, I guess. But I know it's kind of like, I don't want to make that my life because I just don't know if it really connects to my soul. That whole, I don't think it's fake, but there's a lot of image stuff in, you know, it's very like superficial and everything, you know, through social media. But in saying that, I would sacrifice it because then I get to travel and do cool stuff. And to the point, let's say you're like doing all that stuff and then you just offload it to an editor.
Yeah.
So that I could probably try and...
You can fuck with that, but you have to get over that hump, and you don't know if it's going to be 6 months of hard work or it's going to be 10 years of hard work and never get there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be cool. Yeah.
Oh, wow, man. I've kind of one final question, and it's one that I've been asking every guest.
Oh. What is it?
It's just like a kind of, I guess you could call it a spiritual question. But people have religions, people have gods, people have people. What is kind of, if you boil it down, the thing you're most answerable to? When you scrape everything away, what are you actually answerable to?
What? What do you mean? Wow.
What is the one thing you hold in the most utmost respect, that every action, every decision is kind of, that's the thing on your shoulder, the voice saying, is that a good or bad? Like, you know what I mean? So for a religious person, they're answering to God. It doesn't matter if their wife says this or their culture says this. God is number one, right?
Yeah.
What is that for you?
I don't know. I feel like just being honest to yourself, I guess. I don't know. Try and
So yourself, like,
yeah, like is that
yeah, you know,
that would that work? I don't know. Just try.
maybe if you can just try to paint like the context of that inner voice and where it's coming from, how it is, and
I don't know, man. Like I said, I've always sort of done things on my own, and I've always just had my own back. So I always see myself as like I see like future me looking down at me, or my little me. I'm like trying to make him proud, you know, or something. I don't know if that's. I try and do the right thing as well. There's always that issue. Like always like sometimes because there's a couple few sides. Sometimes I can get away with shit because like I'm stingy and whatever. But you want to try and do the right thing as well. I don't know if that's. Maybe my sisters.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
look up
think-
to them. I look up to them. They're pretty cool. Pretty good role models in my life. I don't know, man. I don't have a god or anyone in my life.
no.
There's a truth.
There's no right answer.
I like the
here.
truth.
Yeah.
I live by the truth. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just try and whatever. If genuine, be genuine and honest is a being. That guy.
Yeah. Sick.
Is that an answer?
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I really like, especially I like the idea of a little kid and a future version of you. I've often been in, especially in Guatemala, like when I was that's probably the first time I was really on my own, which sounds like you kind of felt like you are for a long time, most of your life.
more or less.
And when I was kind of in that state, I often would actually, like when I was journaling, I'd sometimes, or even just speaking to myself as kind of a grandpa version of me, looking down at me and being like, you know, you're gonna be fucking chill. Like,
Do you know what's really cool I saw online actually is like imagine having think of all your past generations and they've all led their seed or whatever, right? All the generations they've led to you and they're all watching you do life, cheering you on, being like, go, this is our thing, this is our history. They're all cheering you on and you want to make him proud. Be like, look what I'm doing, mate. Yeah, fuck yeah, look, I'm gonna do it all right, you know, whatever. I saw that online. I'm like, that's actually sick. Because if you anything you do and you think that all your past history, your line of, you know, ancestors or whatever.
Well, it's in your eyes. Your eyes are them. Like,
yeah, whatever, right? It's now it's should I be doing this? They're watching always should I be doing this thing or should I fucking be, I don't know, scrolling on Instagram or whatever. You're doing that, what am I doing? It's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't fight saber-toothed tigers 10,000 years ago for me to be scrolling in bed today.
Fighting the war, mate.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
No, I love it. Well, do you have anything else you get off your chest or share?
No, I would encourage people to go have fun.
Yeah. I mean,
go travel.
I'm in my media voice, but no, that was sick.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right. But that was the longest one yet by far.
Yeah. How long was that?
That was 2 hours 23.
Oh, it's not too bad.
No.
I was like 3 hours kind of long.